And we're live. Hey guys, welcome to Whiskey Charlie, our monthly war game chat here on YouTube. I'm your host, Mo from Mo's Game Table, and joining me are my two co-hosts, everybody's favorite Gimp with the Limp, the Gimpy Gamer Nate Rogers. How's it going, Nate?
It's going well. It's going. You know that for beforehand.
Now that you got your camera working again.
Yeah, I'm here. That's a miracle. So we'll take that as a win.
There we go. And we got the war game wizard from Oz, Kev Sharp. How's it going?
Good. How we doing? I'm doing a lot better than Nate is.
Yes, definitely a lot better. How's things going on the big board?
The big board is just, it's big. It's huge. Huge. It's big.
It's huge.
It's got things going on. You wouldn't believe.
Now, you got a lot. You've been putting out a lot of content lately. So have you, Nate? You got a little tank game that I saw you putting out there, and you've been doing a whole bunch of different. You're doing a lot of catch up. It seems, Kev. You're doing like something like you'll do an episode here, and then you'll put something else out, and then you not an episode, but a tidbit on something, and then you'll follow up about a few days later with something else on it.
I've got a lot of backlog that I haven't posted, so I've been trying to get caught up on that. And then write all that stuff up. And I took a week off from gaming because I was just kind of frustrated with stuff. And but I was looking because you said, hey, we need to talk about what we've been playing this year.
Yes.
At the start of the year. And I was looking, I've actually, it seems like I've done a reasonable amount of things. So that's good. But anyway, what about you?
I've been busy with a whole bunch of stuff. We had ACDC going on, which was pretty cool. And then I had the preview for Purple Haze, which I posted up, and they actually went live today. I think it was. Yeah, it was today, and they actually funded already. So good for them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I got the notification on that one.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it'll fund real well, and that they will actually expand out from what I saw. Or what they're saying they're going to have now, because 8 scenarios, the prototype came with 3. 8's not going to be enough. It's just not going to be enough. Everybody knew that from the get-go.
What's the price for 80?
65.
Yeah.
The for GameFound.
Right.
I think it's going to be like 80 I think it's going to be 80 for the full price. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it's not too bad.
No, it's not. But when you have a narrative game like that, you really do have to have many scenarios, because what I played a couple of them a few times, and they will take some different pathing, different branching, but overall you are going to follow kind of the same story, or pretty much the same story. You'll have different paths you can branch off to, but you're not going to get more than 2 or 3 games out of each. And out of 8 scenarios, how many times are people going to play more than twice?
Right.
So
I bet you they'll do stretch goals, extra scenarios and stuff like that. If they're smart, they'll do something.
Well, they do have one expansion, the Tunnel Rats expansion, which that'll be new. But they got to do a couple things. They got to come out with more scenarios, and they've got to develop their combat system,
or random scenario generators, something along those lines.
It would be harder because of the narrative to do a random generator, unless you did it with an app. And the thing is, they're not, at least to this point, I haven't heard anything about an app. So, and we know what happened with U-Boat with that app. That kind of got abandoned. So we don't want to see that happen again, which
that was War Game of the Year. That can't be abandoned.
But it's the truth.
With that great map, they did that?
Right. I know, right? Wait, no, seriously, was that abandoned? Like completely?
Kind of. Well, not abandoned officially or anything like that, but from what I checked, there was no updates being made on it. Really, yes, we're slackers and headbangers. So
I was going to ask. I saw John saying that he liked one of the recent Gippy's gals, but there were 2 put up, so I didn't know which one he was talking about. She did Sacred Oil and Axis and Allies. So let me know which one you're talking about, and I'll let you know. Speaking of which, I'm finally getting to poke around at Sacred Oil. Looks good. Looking forward to getting that one to the table. But I think I'm gonna skip counter clipping this time, just because. No, no, I'm not gonna do it. To hell with it.
Oh, just
a lot of counters, bro.
No, what is it? Something like 1,000 counters in that thing.
Yeah,
it's supposed to show the dance moves. Oh, jeez. So it was 65 pounds. Wow, that's pretty heavy. Tunnel Rat expansions included, and then random encounter cards.
Yeah, that'll
What
help.
they're adding random encounter cards, but the random encounters are there. I mean, they can add more of those in there, and that's fine. But and that's actually good. But
Doesn't
you're
change
still
the
going to need a
stream,
narrative.
though, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
change the stream or the branch. Right.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing with a narrative game. If you have more replayability, you lose some of that story. Like the good storytelling can't be there because you have to have that random effects. So
Yeah.
you either have a shorter, better game or a game you can play as many times as you want that's not quite as good.
Hey, Stigler, it's 2,000 pieces.
I clipped quite a bit of it, but not all of it. So
Slackers.
yeah.
Both
I
mine are
might just
good.
figure out what scenario I'm playing and clip those
Yeah.
counters and just leave it
Right.
at that.
Actually, I think I still have some of Iron Sky that needs to be clipped. Not a lot, but some. Probably like maybe 300 or 400 counters.
Oh, I think all the reinforcements for like turn 30 or whatever it is, that none of those are being clipped.
Like, I don't
No.
need you.
I did it like a factory setting, man. I got everything set out when I did Under an Iron Sky. I laid it all out by the different factions, so USA and Soviets, and then the different under factions. Separate them then out by unit type, so infantry and armor and air and helicopter and transport, all that stuff. Got it all broke down. Then I took the time to clip down each stack and then put it in the counter tray. Clip down each stack, put the
Wow.
next one in the counter tray. I'm not doing that again. That took me like 3 or 4 days to do the whole damn
Wow.
game.
I sorted mine by faction and then by turn of entry, and then potentially, depending on how many there were, I did air armor, infantry, split them up. But yeah, that just seemed easier to me. So I could put in fact, I put like all the NATO guys, all the French, the UK, Belgians, all that sort of stuff. There's like 4 guys from each of those. So I just dumped all that crap in one by the turn they arrive. Just made it easier. Didn't clip all of it, but clipped a lot of it. Yeah, I played some Sacred Oil and I got a little bit frustrated with it because it was one of those things where you start playing, you go, oh, I've played before, this will be easy, and just I'm playing scenario 1 introductory, and so
Wait a minute, didn't Fabrizio warn us about this?
Oh, shut up! So what?
he warned us when we had him on the show.
So I'm doing. So I'm playing along. I'm thinking, I'm gonna check, just make sure that's right, because I'm making notes and I wanted to write it up. I wasn't doing too much video, and so I started looking something up. I was like, oh, that's different. I don't remember it being that way. Oh no, don't tell me I played it wrong the whole time. And then I kept reading down, and then I go look at the rule that relates to that, and some other rule relates to that. And I go, freaking hell. Restart. So I did that a couple of times. I got a little frustrated. So
there's a lot more. There's a lot more going on here. You've got naval faction stuff, and then that extra line of communication or whatever chart that he was talking about.
Yeah.
And then the whole event structure, the way it's being held, and then the different factions and how they interact. There's a lot more going on here than just
Sure. And I wasn't using the event cards. This was just the lock. There's a scenario that's set on the lock where you've got some aircraft in Diego Garcia. You've got the Kitty Hawk CV group. That's called Battle Group something Bravo, and they're going in to take the Yemen and I think Sudanese. No, not Sudanese. The Yemen and some other base out that the Soviets have got stuff on. And so they just got to land special forces there to attack the base, and they capture it, right? So that's all. That's 3 turns. And I restarted twice. So on the 3rd try, I got it right. And I don't know why my camera's doing that. I apologize.
I was getting ready to ask, are you getting abducted by aliens or something? Because your lights keep flickering in and out.
That's probably my kids turning on some other piece of electrical equipment in the house.
Have to start calling a priest over there or something for you.
Yeah.
I cast you out.
I was going to say it's a possession, right?
Exactly. So what's up with this, Brian? He says, Kev, epic response on Facebook about the Take Notice Compass Games post. Do you know what he's talking about,
so
Kev?
the guy was giving Compass Games a hard time because he bought Dave Thompson's, Normandy game, the deck builder game.
Oh, Undaunted. Yeah.
It happens to be a war game as well, right?
Wait. He bought it?
No,
some other guy did.
Some guy bought it and said, "Oh,
Okay.
great value for money. Take notice, Compass Games." And I said, "Well, come on, dude. You can't compare, the Breakout Normandy, whatever it's called,
Undaunted Normandy. Yeah.
What's it called? Undaunted, right?
Yeah.
You can't compare that game to any full Compass game. It's completely different. Components and maps and all the rest of it. And in his game, you've got a few counters and a deck of cards. That's it. So of course it's going to cost less. And Compass is dealing, and I said Compass is dealing with heavyweight. That's really annoying, isn't it? Heavyweight designers. And I'm not saying Dave's not a heavyweight designer. Well, actually, I kind of am because he's new, right? Hasn't been around 20 years, but he probably doesn't charge anywhere near as much as Butterfield does or any of those other guys. And so I said, so you shouldn't. That's just a bad comparison.
Yeah.
And then it got very heated, and some dude just started cocking off from Australia. Some other Australians.
Damn Australians.
Undaunted Normandy is a good crossover game.
No, yeah.
It's an intro. I don't care. Well, that's great. It's a great crossover game. It's for all I know. I've never played it. I don't care. I made a couple of comments about it being historically accurate. I mentioned the girl on the cover wasn't at Stalingrad, and then someone else chimed in, well, there's no African Americans at Normandy, and so then it got all the wokey and stuff, and that wasn't my intent at all. My intent
was in the pot.
No, well, I wasn't even. I just said just don't compare the two because they're completely different. And I don't care if it's a crossover game. That's great, right? Yeah, if that leads you to Combat Commander or ASL, God bless you. I don't really see the leap, but that's fine. Root would be a better example of a crossover game than Undaunted. But anyway.
Well, I pulled it up.
It does well.
Yeah, and go to your point, Kev. I just pulled it up just out of curiosity to see what the component count was. For Undaunted Normandy, it's 108 cards, 18 large map tiles, dice, tokens, and a campaign book. So 108 cards, it's like 2 decks of cards.
2 decks of cards. That's $4.
$2 to $4, depending on where you go. So say $4. We'll say $5. And then you've got 18 large map tiles, 50 cents to $1 each. So, not if that, so you're talking like this thing probably costs like $10-12 to make, maybe even less, maybe like 7 or 8, when you're making it in China. So you have to keep in mind the actual production cost versus the production cost of a full-on war game. You've got 4, 5, 6, 7 counter sheets, and you've got 2 giant maps and a 40-page or 80-page rule book, and then a 40-page or 80-page playbook, and all your player aids on
your box and all the rest of it. Look, the box alone costs $5 for any Compass game, right? So it's my whole point was just a cost comparison from cost comparison, and then the designer gets paid something, and they certainly get a very different percentage depending on what the company is, and we kind of
far too much.
They get far too much.
Far too much. It was a joke, but
yeah, right. So anyway. Wow, that led off to a nice conversation. Thanks for
Well, no, that's a great conversation because if you have a comparison like that, is that shows an ignorance or a lack of understanding. If whichever term you want to use, it's the same thing.
Right.
Of the general public when it comes to purchasing games, and they think that. Oh, they should be selling these games for $30, $40. Look at how they do it. It's like, look at the size of the box, look at the contents in the box, and look at the type of game it is versus.
And also, a lot of games is made in the United States, which is inherently more expensive. Anyway.
Yes. Yeah. Same for MMP. That all adds up.
David talked to me about that before, and he had mentioned some of the prices. And just to get a prototype to me, you're looking at bare minimum 3 to 4 times the cost to have the prototype made. I think he told me the guy wanted to charge, I think it was $20 extra to include I think it was Landreth Ridge. He wanted to include the printed rule book, but he didn't. He sent it as a PDF because it was going to cost $20 per copy.
Right.
And that was just to have it printed here. And of course, with that, he's only making 4 or 5 copies of this. So we're not talking about, bulk production, but that still needs to be considered because Compass does produce a lot of their stuff here in the U.S. versus
Sure.
printed in China. That's going to make a difference.
That's true. Because when it comes to prototypes, I'm not sure where he went to, but I know prototypes run minimum probably run you about $150 to $200 up to $300.
Right.
So it gets
Right.
pricey very fast.
Yeah, I mean, there's a guy in Europe right now that's trying to get 10 prototypes put together to send over to the US to gamers and stuff. And I've got you two knuckleheads on the list. I don't know why, but I do. But trying to get stuff made, and it's taking him months and months and months, and it's super expensive to get that stuff done. So the point, smaller the scale, more complex the game, more involved the game, more parts, more bits, more expensive, right? It's pretty straightforward. You go buy a deck of cards in a store, it's $3. You go to a tourist trap, you might pay $7 because it's got a really nice picture on the back. Yep. So you can't compare 2 packs of cards and a counter sheet and a few tiles to a Compass game or a GMT game, or God forbid you buy one of the European games that start at $200, right?
Yeah.
For 7 sheets and 5 maps and 2 rule books and a box the size of a small state.
Yeah.
Dude, I was actually going to mention that as far as some of the Kickstarters recently. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the prices have shot through the roof.
Yeah.
Especially if you're looking at All In. There was one of my little guilty pleasures is the zombie side games. I like those little miniature.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Games. Yeah, the All In on that thing, almost $500. It's like $460.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Who the hell's going to spend that?
Right.
On a board game? I can't afford that. No way in hell. Yeah. And then even just to get what I would call the core game is, I think, $250. And that is still way too high. Zombicide used to kickstart back in the day for something like $80. $80
to $100.
Are we talking about maybe it's a different game. I'm not even going to go there. Well, look at the OST. Look at the old school tactical Kickstarter. My jaw dropped when I saw the purchase price for.
How much is that one?
I want to say
110.
110.
It's 150 if you get that in the expansion.
Yeah.
So it's pricey, but then again,
it's a big game. I'll give him that, right? And it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that's just a lot of money. And that doesn't include the Stalingrad map or Stalingrad expansion counters or any of that. It's just so I cheaped out. I bought the upgrade package and the Red Blitz, right? I'm not, because I already got it, right? So
Is he selling the first edition with that, or is it just the second edition? Or
the second edition, not a reprint.
The second edition, so it's the new counters, right? New counters,
new art,
new stuff. There's other bits, new charts and rules or something.
What I say, I might end up just sending this to you guys because I have the expansion for the first one, but I don't have the first game.
Oh, you don't have Stalingrad? Send it.
No. Me. Yeah. So at this point,
you got Stalingrad already, right, Kev?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I might as well just send it to you guys because it's been on my shelf for a few months.
Is that the Airborne one, dude, or is it the Western Front one? Because there's 2 expansions.
Yeah, there's Ghost
Airborne.
Division or something like that, or Airborne. Okay.
Skinny box.
Yeah, it's skinnier.
Skinny green box.
Yeah, it's green.
Oh, it's not. So it's not the white Stalingrad.
Yeah. I've only played one of the scenarios out of that. I'm way behind on getting gameplay on that. I actually played a cool scenario of that just a couple of days ago. Two Tigers versus 2 KV-1s and 4 T-34s. It was a beatdown for the Russians.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be doing a tank game. Remember I had mentioned to you guys that game Panzerkampf the other day, the miniatures one?
Oh, yeah.
And I talked to the designer somewhat about it, and I was like, you know what? I can make my own version of this. So I did. I went ahead and printed out tanks and printed out the rules, made my own counters, made my own movement templates.
That's cool.
Did the whole got PDF of it?
All I've got is the PDF of the rules. So it's just the rules from the Kickstarter. And I'm sure there's going to be tweaks and some changes to it, but I was able to make my own templates for the tanks, and I'm just using T-34s and Panzer IVs in it. But I was able to find the right scale, and I printed those out, got them painted up, and I've got the terrain left over from Conflict of Heroes. So set that out, measure it out. I'm good to go. I've actually got it set up on the table now. I'm gonna try it later and film it. I was like,
Nice.
screw it. I don't need a prototype. I can make my own prototype.
Oh, that's cool.
See, all I
Resin
need is
printer,
the rules
cool
and
it.
the counters. I've got all the miniatures that I'd ever need because I looked at that game and the scale of the game is the same as Tide of Iron. And I have all
Is
the
it really?
miniatures. I have all the miniatures from Tide of Iron. So I
So
can use all those
it's
tanks.
the 1 to 150.
Yeah, it's like it's like N scale, 1/144th is what I think that one is, Tide of Iron. So it's close to 1/50th. So
Yeah,
it's
I
close enough.
I had to scale up because I had the resin STL files for the 1/200s, so I scaled it up to the
Big
size.
dog, you got a resin printer?
Yeah, I've had a resin printer. I
Nice.
told you about that.
I didn't know it was resin. I thought it was the filament one. Nice.
Yeah, the film one broke, so I got a resin one over a
Oh,
year back. But these things, I mean, it prints out nice. It's what I use to
Mhm.
make all the tanks and stuff for bolt action.
nice.
Because nothing World War II is copyrighted, right? So if you want to
Mhm.
just print out a 28 millimeter Panzer,
Right.
Sherman, whatever, you can just do that.
Any
paint it up,
update on
look good.
GMT is shipping the latest charges into the freaking woods? I didn't know who did Into the Freaking Woods. I've not heard about that game.
Is that the name of it?
Into the Woods.
I would
just
love
busting
it if
Jeff's
they
I don't
had
think
it into the
so.
freaking
Did
woods,
they
man.
charge for it? I don't even know if they even charged for it yet.
I'm not sure if they charged. Did they charge yet, Jeff? They charged for that already? I would say if they charged, then it'll probably be shipping within 2 weeks.
Yeah, because I know I just got whacked for 4 games, I think.
From
What games did you
GMT.
get?
Yeah,
What did you get?
I have no idea. I just saw the bill cross my desk. My wife goes, "Is this for you? Is this GMT game for you?"
So Jeff says he doesn't believe they charged, but the other Jeff says they did charge.
Oh, okay. Well, it's charged, so it'll be any week now. Stop being a whiny, dude.
Seen issues with Pacific War 10-pound game. What's the issues? It's 10 pounds. Hopefully there's no issues because that would be
that's one of the ones that I'm receiving. So that's Vietnam.
Vietnam I got.
And 2
AGC,
others.
Barbarossa.
Oh yeah, AGC, and
Yeah.
then the 4th might be I think the Salerno game is out. Yeah.
Are
I'd
you
consider
guys
that.
selling drugs and just not cutting me in? I mean, is that what you're doing here? Because just covering my bases as far as Compass is concerned. You got Third World War, you got Sui Sui Khan, American Tank Ace.
Sui Khan. What the heck is this?
Sui
You're starting
Sui
a-
Khan.
a-
Oh, it's a
80s
Japanese
new wave
game.
band?
It's
Sui
a
Sui
football
Khan.
Susie.
Sui
You
Khan.
kick around and
I thought
try
I
to
nailed that
pound.
one, damn it.
Sensui Khan.
Sensui Khan, whatever. Just keeping up with their pre-orders, man. I can barely, get even close. I don't even
deal
think I
drugs,
have.
do you? You don't deal drugs?
No drugs.
Oh,
I
okay.
use a lot of drugs.
There's your problem. Yeah. Well, see,
No
I have a
fun ones.
full-time job, so I got to work to
Yes.
pay for the stuff. Unlike yourself, who's retired.
Go get blown up. Look, there are plenty of bombs overseas. I guarantee you, you can go find one.
No, I think I will forgo that.
I'll pass on that, my friend.
It only hurts for a long time afterwards.
It only hurts like every day.
It's just the pain that won't go away. It's like being married.
Yeah,
Ooh, did
I
I
mean,
say that out loud?
There you
Oops.
go.
although
It's the
Kev, I
exact
mean,
same.
you hit above your pay grade, so you should be happy about that.
With my wife?
Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks for sharing.
Look, she came. She brought you some food in the last
Well,
video.
she's well trained. What can I tell you?
Yeah, I noticed that she's not in the room when you're saying all this
Oh,
shit.
you know that.
It's a dossier on you.
Don't worry. Hey,
And she doesn't know the URL for this channel. Right.
you know
Nice.
her email address by chance? Because I'm recording this right now.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good.
Be like, Kev, I need you to just back a couple of P500s for me. We'll call it even. Don't
Call
worry
it
about it.
even. Right.
No, I don't have
So-
anything on GMT right now. I don't know. Maybe I just stopped looking.
I only have a
since
couple.
they split it out.
I only have a couple. I had Vietnam and then Army Group Center. That was it. Barbarossa. That was it. Other than that, I didn't get anything else.
And I'm kind of taking a high risk, chance on that because I'm not super enamored with that system, and I'm not sure that it's going to float my boat.
But get it now, or it'll be out of print in like 2 months.
Yeah, I imagine that it'll be out of print in a while, and then if it's not up to scratch, we'll be able to flip it for.
It'll never. Oh yeah, and we won't see.
You will never see it again. That's for sure.
No, probably not. If they do print it, it won't be for at least 7 to 10 years. Right. What's wrong?
I was thinking about, you said Vietnam, so it crossed my mind that I need to double check. I had a dibs out for they were soldiers on the pay it forward war games thing, and yeah, I lost. I didn't win the dib, so that is unfortunate. That's not a Vietnam game I would be playing anytime soon. It's actually by the same people that were doing the the Kickstarter for that other Vietnam game we were talking about.
Purple Haze?
No. I
know who you're talking about.
The little company that's
with the poker chips.
Yeah. Gwyn Valley, something along those lines.
Right. Holy crap! $30 to ship Pacific War. Damn.
10-pound game. Yeah. I mean, it just depends on where it's getting shipped to.
Yeah, if you're gonna buy big games, you expect big prices.
Yeah, that's a bit stiff right there. They didn't even back the long road
to ship to.
What's the long road? What is that?
That's Mark's other game, Flying Pig. That's the one with the vampires and werewolves and stuff. Well, I don't know if it has vampires, but it's werewolves.
Oh, right.
Is it an expansion to that one that I covered the other day, or
no,
different.
Same
universe,
backdrop, same universe. Yeah, but it's Platoon Commander Deluxe with the extra, supernatural elements.
With a vampire and a werewolf.
It sounds like something I probably would have been leaning more towards than the Dark War. That's the name of it.
Dark War,
yeah, the Dark War. Don't get me wrong. The Dark War isn't necessarily a bad game, but it's not a very soloable game. Right, There's too much of it based around, having a GM. Speaking of having a GM, dummy, I got Twilight 2K on your orders. I wouldn't even say recommendation. It was ordered to get it from the game store. So we need to do something with that.
Well, you already did. You got a video out, right? I got a video coming out.
Yeah, I just did a quick unboxing just to see what was in it. I haven't poked around at too much of that stuff. But Kev, you've got it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then yeah, let's do something with this.
Sure.
You said you got
That's the plan.
A guy that can.
I've got 3 characters. One of them's called Gimpy.
Okay. Well, I'm surprised it was just Gimpy after.
Wait you hear his last name.
What, dumbass?
Gimpy Cumstein.
Yeah, I had that one coming. Literally.
Werewolves in World War III, actually, Fango. It's not World War II. This is modern.
A werewolf tears up an M1 tank, right?
Very true. And Dave from Lock and Load saying, "Dear God, you started without me."
Actually, speaking of Lock and Load, that sounds like the nuclear. Was it Nuclear Winter 68? Is that the name of it? So very similar to that, I'm assuming.
No dragons.
There's dragons in Nuclear Winter.
There'll be dragons in Nuclear Winter 68.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to pull that out. I've got the newer version of that. I haven't got a chance to play it just yet.
Brian Patterson with the snark from the left field. Well, publishers do limited print runs to drive up the price on the secondary market. Nice, Brian. Nice.
Yeah. And then they go, "Oh, well, it's worth this much on the secondary market. Now let me charge that much for the next."
Yeah, I don't. I came in late to War Room the other day, and this was one of the topics, and I don't recall exactly how it started because it started before I got in there, and there were people that were actually thinking. I don't know if they're being facetious or not. It sounded like they were being serious, that they think that publishers do limited print runs to drive up the prices on the secondary market. It's like,
why would
that doesn't benefit them?
How does that benefit them?
Common sense there tells you it doesn't work. I don't know where they were what they were thinking,
Are they stupid or morons?
I don't know. I was like, where did this come from? Are you?
Yeah, they're secretly holding back 100 units and they're going to sell them one at a time.
And that's when I said, That's what I said. I'm sitting on 50 cases of shrinked case blue. That's my nest egg for my retirement.
I'm gonna make money. This is my retirement. Oh, I've got bad news for you, son.
War game speculation.
Remember the dude? There's some dude had like 12 copies of Citadel from GDW, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, that game was worth 110, 120 bucks or something like that. He's like, "Oh, this is great." Blah 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 blah. And then, of course, Dien Bien Phu came out from Kanga, and everyone just went, "Oh, best game on the topic ever." And the price for Citadel just went through the ass, right? Just dropped through the floor. I think you can pick one up now for 40 bucks. So there you go.
See, now Tim goes, they do limited runs because it's a niche product. Yeah, I mean, it's less risk when you do 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 print run than you do the hobby games. That's why hobby games have zero value.
Right.
You know,
it's
when you get
economics. Right?
Yeah, you get a Euro and they go out there and they print 25,000 copies or 50,000 copies of a game and they sell it it comes out on day one at $50.
Right.
And in a month, it is now 30. Well, when you go to buy it, I bought it for 30 bucks. I saved so much. And you go to sell it to somebody else, you're lucky to get 10 bucks for it.
Yeah.
The value, it just depreciates. It depreciates faster than a car.
Especially with the number of Euros that have been published. You've got this really finite window. And that's the side benefit of wargaming, is these games have a longer life, a longer shelf life. So
yeah, they do tend to hold their value a fair bit more. Like an SPI, the war in Europe could still sell for a couple $100 right now.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I would never pay $200 for that game.
The nostalgia value alone on top of the
that's
quality of the overall product.
That's what people are paying for all that. It's all nostalgia. This is interesting, right?
I'm still kicking myself because I had a chance to get a copy of Tokyo Express, and it was something like 35 or 40 bucks. And I didn't take the opportunity to go ahead and get that. And I still kick myself for it because anytime I've looked since then to try to find a copy of it, it's always well over 100 that they're trying to sell it for. I mean, nowhere near.
The other day, people were talking about a game that I had gotten on Facebook on the market. One day, I was at work and my phone dinged. It's like, it just came up and it says, the new post in Constant Marketplace. So I was like, man, what the hell? I'll go check it out. I go in there and somebody was selling an unpunched copy of Where There Is Discord for $125. And I went, sold, like that to the guy. And he was like, I said, is this available? I'll take it. And he messages me back. He goes, I expected it to go fast, not within 90 seconds. So I bought it from him. That was the going price for it when it was released. And I was like, and I said to him, do you not realize that you can charge more than double for this? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. I don't need to gouge. I was like, okay. But if I was going to sell it, I'm going to ask market value. That's capitalism. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And let you sell it to Kev or Gimpy for $125, and then
I'll just give it to one of you two.
Well,
I know I won't give it to Kev though because he already had it and he didn't like it that much.
Yeah, give it to him. Yeah.
I'm good.
I'm
not going to give it to you.
No, I wouldn't. If anything, I would film it and then just send it back to you. You're not holding on to it for resale value or anything, are you?
No,
you're actually going to open it.
Oh, it's already open, punched, and ready to go. I even made the tuck boxes for it, so that way I just put it back up. I haven't gotten to it yet. It's one of my games to get played, but I'm going to play it. That's why I wanted it, because I wanted to play it.
Yeah.
So
that and the War in the Pacific. 10,000 counters.
Clip.
I wanted to go back to a comment here. John had said, he says, I'll say it here, point blank is more going for it over Purple Haze. Yes, I know World War II versus Vietnam. I'm talking the narrative and theater of the mind. Now, having played both, I will say that it's hard to compare the two. They're not the same. Point blank is a tactical game. It's like up front. It's a true tactical game. And it's just using cards instead of counters. Whereas Purple Haze is a narrative generator. And it has a story and a branching story. You don't make the same. Do not make anywhere near the same tactical decisions that you make in Point Blank. So it's not a fair evaluation or a fair, comparison, I would say. And so I would have to disagree with you only in saying that, not disagree with that. I'd say it's not a fair comparison to either game because they serve two different purposes. So Purple Haze is going to be cool, I think, for what it does if they develop it out further. It's neat the way it is now, but it's kind of limited. They could expand it out further and make it better. It's still going to be limited because of the narrative aspect of it, but Point Blank is going to just have tons of replayability.
Do you see them developing it out further?
They're saying they will. And I even gave them some ideas, because not only in the video, but then in some emails that I've had with them, some conversations I've had with them. And then on the video that I have, there's a thread. Me and James were talking back and forth about it, and I had posted some of my suggestions. And I said, well, that's enough for now. Like that, I put a bunch of them out there because there's room to expand the tactical flexibility in that game quite a bit. It depends on if they want to do it, and I think going with a 6-man team and calling it a squad is, I even said it in the video, it's basically a glorified fire team. 6 people. It's a half squad, and you could have a story for a half squad. You can actually, if they wanted to, they could build this out to a full squad and then do the scenarios they have. Then they can come up with another 6 scenario expansion and have it be the lost half squad, and how, and then you knock it down to 6. These guys get separated, or they lose half their squad and they're left and they have to get back to base, that sort of thing.
Why didn't they just go fire team instead? That way they could flesh them out more. Because I could see what they're trying to do. They don't want to have too many, so you have too much going on, right? That makes sense. But if they don't want 6, you're much closer to the 4 with a fire team than you are the 12. You know what I'm saying? So just drop a couple people and flesh it out even that much more.
You think they didn't know that, or?
I think there is a little bit. I know there's a little bit of ignorance to the structure of the Marine Corps units, because even the nomenclature is wrong, and I pointed that out to them too. They don't call them pioneers; they call them engineers or demo guys, one of the two. So they're using the term pioneer, which is World War II German term. They're calling them medics, and they're not medics; they're corpsmen. They're Navy corpsmen. Yeah. So that's just a lack of understanding of that, and that's fine. That's part of the development process, because it's just nomenclature. That's easy to fix. But I know some people took some umbrage with the language being in the game, and I don't. I mean, I respect that and I can understand it, but they're telling a story about guys at war in Vietnam and they're Marines. So we don't sugarcoat what we say. I mean, we watch what we say on this show, but in combat, you're not going to, and Army does the same thing. Everybody in a high stress environment is going to talk with foul language. Sure. It's just the way it is, so.
That's kind of goofy, but that just seems like that's part of the, given the lack of perhaps tactical depth in the game, and it's a much lighter, sort of more role-playing oriented game. They're reaching a different audience, which have different expectations about language and course language and things like that. So I can certainly see how that would be an issue. So if you want to pansy it up for them and make it softer and more loving and caring, and oh gosh, I got shot in the leg, or
darn it,
oh gee, is that a nasty little Vietnamese person over there? I don't know, saying there's a ding, there's a gook or whatever it is they said, right? So, and I didn't even use an F word.
Well, I mean, that is something that they did, at least from what I saw in there. I can't recall off the top of my head if there was any slanderous comments in that regard, which would fit in a war narrative. However, there was a lot of F-bombs and stuff like where there were several. And I was like, okay, I didn't flinch. I was like, yeah,
it's not every second word. I think that's
we use them every third word.
It could be in the Marines. The F word is interchangeable with every word in the English dictionary.
Yes,
it just depends on how you say it, right?
Flat out.
Well, here's the number one thing: the Marine Corps has been the most progressive group in the entire world, because since 1775, fucker has been the gender neutral pronoun we've used entirely in our entire existence. So there you go. Little Marine Corps history.
On a serious note, there is a valid reason to use a pejorative term for the enemy. All right. Yes. So in the real world, when you're in a combat situation, you use some type of pejorative to reference the enemy because in a way it dehumanizes them because you
You're
can't
othering
think of
them.
them.
Yeah. You're othering them.
You can't think of them as dads, as sons, as brothers, as people that have their own family and lives and
Fellow
they'll
human,
be missed.
right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's going to get to you. And they found that out in the Civil War when a lot of guys died without ever firing their rifles. That's why they changed the target shape from just a round circle to a B mod. So it was a person shaped target that they were shooting at. So you got used to shooting at people shaped targets. Same thing with the mindset. You can't think of them a certain way. So you come up with whatever word it is to use to refer to the Germans or the Vietnamese or the Iraqis. That way you don't think of them when you're doing your job. You can't think of them when you're doing your job. Otherwise, you don't go home.
Right.
Yeah. It's a target. That's all it
Here's
is.
a
Not a
good
human being.
Here's a good comment from Dave about print costs, right? Perfect.
What is he talking about?
He's saying true facts, but I won't say what games. 600 unit print run for game X is $20. And if you print $14.65 for a print run, it'll be $1,100 if you went, instead of 600, you went to $1,100, drops down to $14.65.
There's no in between.
$5.35 a unit.
That's quite a bit of money.
More profits.
Yeah. That adds up real quick.
If you can sell.
Yeah, and then that's the thing is,
right?
It might cost $20, but then you have to apply the rules of 5s or 7s, which is either 5 times or 7 times the cost, which is kind of the board game standard. Sometimes it's 3, depending on the cost, or the type of game. But you have to have your cost, what the MSRP is going to be. Say it's $100. Say it's $20 game, and you're going to charge $100 for it. If you put that game in a distribution, you're selling it to the distributor, or Dave can give us more exact numbers if he would like, but you're going to be selling it at $40 or $50 a unit.
Yep.
And then they're going to take it and they're going to sell it to Miniature Market or whoever at $75. And then they mark it up and then sell it from there. I'm ballparking it. I'm not giving the exact numbers.
Yeah. And that's pretty close, right?
Could be $70 to $80 that they'll sell it for.
Right.
Now they're going to sell it for $100. You're like, wow, it's expensive. They're making $20 on the unit. $20. So everyone gets their piece along the supply chain. And that's one of the things that people need to understand how this works, because this is the same way it works in the stores. If, I worked at a leather goods company for a short period of time when I got out of the military before I got another job, and as a buyer's assistant. So I got to see all the markups on all that shit.
BDSM shop?
No, it wasn't that. That was before that. No, but we sold everything from like briefcases to, wallets to handbags, all kinds of stuff. The thing that always cracked me up was the handbags. We had a handbag that we would sold to needless markup, as we called them, Neiman Marcus. We sold it. It was $1.65 a unit. They sold it for $92. The same unit was sold to Kmart for $1.65 a unit. They sold it for $14.95. The only difference was Neiman Marcus put the Neiman Marcus label on it.
Yep.
So it goes to show you that with a little bit of, looking behind the curtain, people would be surprised at what they pay for.
Yep.
Now, I will say this is something that bothers me tremendously is, let's say, a war game company, because I don't see this happening as much with more of the generic board gaming companies, but a war game company puts a game on Kickstarter, it kicks, it succeeds, it funds, all that stuff, and then they put extra copies out into the retail market, and then Miniature Market or Cool Mini is selling it for less than I backed it for, with all the goodies and stuff to go along with it.
Yeah.
If I back it and I help you get it to market, I want the best price. I think the Kickstarter backers should get the best price regardless. And if they have to tell Miniature Market, hey, you can't sell it below what the pledge level was.
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah. So the whole point of Kickstarter is supposed to be, we're giving our money up front, we're going to get extras potentially, or we're going to get, otherwise it's a P500, right? If it's a P500, all I'm doing is saying, yeah, I'll buy one, but come credit card time, I may not. That's different. And so that's why they want 500 orders or 750 as GMT's number, right? It's not really a P500, 750. But with Kickstarter, you get the cash up front, right? So now you're on the hook to make the game. And when you go sell it, I don't want to turn around and find it anywhere less, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would piss me off. Really piss me off.
That's true.
I'm giving you an interest-free loan, right?
Yes.
For a year or 2 years.
I've had that happen with P500s. I've had that happen with Kickstarters. And I don't appreciate that. It makes me feel like, why did I give you my money to hold on to for 6 months or whatever?
Right.
So you could have it.
The argument is that the games don't get made, right? If we don't do it. So
that argument doesn't hold water with me anymore on Kickstarter for a lot of companies.
Yeah.
Simon is a good example of it. You know, they go out there and they print, Zombicide 2022 or whatever. They've made plenty of money off that franchise. They're just basically letting everyone else front the cost for them because they will, and they'll get a good value out of it. And they know that, and the collectors go nuts for it. I don't do a lot of Kickstarters anymore, and I've done over 200 in the past. I've backed quite a bit, and I've learned over my time doing it. A lot of it was, friends I had that were doing games. I wanted to back them and show support and stuff like that. And there were other games that I wanted, and I've been doing it for years. And now I'm just like, Nate, what you said, I'm not doing it because I'm going to back this game for $80 and then it's going to be on sale at Miniature Market for 60. And it's like, no, I'm not doing it anymore. Now I will for some companies, don't get me wrong. Yeah. I still will back them, because I know it's a good game or it's a good price or whatever.
Right.
I'll do it. But generally though, no, smaller companies more so than bigger companies.
Yeah. Like Third World War. I put down the backing for that because I know that when I get that game, if I go to buy it from Compass Games later on, if they have retail copies left, it's still going to be the same price or more.
Right.
They're not going to be selling it for less later on.
Wow. Marx is Marx. He found Second Fleet in Vietnam VG for $20 Canadian. And now
I hope you understand. $5 American?
That's what I was going to say. $2.80 American.
That's a great deal.
No, that is a really good deal for those. Yeah, that I would jump on those. And right now, the old VG Vietnam is going to go for a lot less than it was going for because GMT's reprinted it. So,
yeah.
Did you want to say something, Kev, before I jump back in there?
No, you jump back in. You do that.
Well, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't cutting you off.
He's going to do it anyway.
Speaking of Kickstarters, something that had happened to me recently, and talking about Victory Games, I am right. They're the ones that published Nemo's War, right?
Victory Point Games.
Yeah. I got to commend them for handling this. I had backed Nemo's War, not the whole thing, but the expansion for the 3rd edition because I like Nemo's War.
Good point.
There was a problem with it when it was coming to finalizing the thing because they're getting ready to ship it. And it didn't have the little expansion pack of cards, like $9 pack of cards on there. And it was just making me force that money that I had already spent on that into like the shipping and taxes and leaving a little credit. Mm-hmm. To be fair, I contacted them, let them know what the deal was. The next day they had reopened my thing, put the order back in, fixed it, and squared me within a day. Mad props to them for handling it that quickly. A different company, and I'm going to call them out for it, Epic Games. Back in November, I got a game for my birthday that, how games come with a stack of counter sheets. Mm-hmm. This one had, I still remember it, 18, and I got 2 sheet 13s and no sheet 14. I kept the sheets. I took a picture. I sent it to him, explained to him what happened, showed him my proof of purchase that I didn't get this from like eBay opened or anything like that. This was a new copy that I had bought, or had been bought for me rather. So I just want that sheet that I'm missing. Yeah. I did a back and forth with them forever. And then some handling department, I forget who was handling it, but it wasn't until yesterday that they finally got that damn sheet that had been missing sent to me. So we're looking at like 4 months.
Wow.
That I've been waiting for them to finally get that. This was Epic Games.
Epic.
What they're the ones. They did that real big.
Did they do Mark?
Tomb of the Lost Temple, I think is the name of it.
Huh.
I can't. They had another one that just went on Kickstarter recently, and it was really.
One of these Euro games you were buying, dude?
No, this was like a miniatures dungeon crawly type game.
So Euro.
I don't think of those as Euros. I think of those as like miniature American trash stuff.
Ameritrash.
Ameritrash.
More
Dudes on a
Ameritrash.
map or whatever they call them now.
Yeah, dudes on a map. All right. So they really bombed at it. It shouldn't take a company 4 months when
Yeah.
you have a massive amount of evidence to show them, hey, this component was just missing. I just need you to send me this component.
Wow.
So if someone does good, I'd like to give them props. I mean, within a
Mhm.
day, Victory Point Games jumps on it. And I've noticed that when it comes to war game companies, Compass, Lock and Load, all the others, really, Victory Point Games, they're really quick when it comes to fixing things. It seems the smaller companies do that.
Yes. Yeah.
Bigger companies like Epic, it's like, if we piss off a customer, if we don't get him taken care of for months, we're still selling to these thousands of other people, so it doesn't matter.
Hattel was talking about Purple Haze when I was talking to James. That's one of the things that they did talk about was having more tactical depth in the game with formations and range, because that was one of the things that I had mentioned to James about was the way it is now. You're on a card. I don't know if you guys watch the video, but you get these dice on a card, and that's what you're attacking based on their different ranges. I think the Marines should be allowed to have tactical options of, maybe backing off or charging in to close with and use different types of weapons that may be out of range, or you need to step back because you want to be at a better advantage, and they should have modifiers based on range. And they should also allow you some tactical options, like maybe a couple of guys can work together. One guy lays down covering fire while another guy throws smoke at the same time, even though you get one action per turn, because there's this back and forth initiative track. And depending on what the weapon is that you fire, you may be able to suppress them, but you're going to go enough into their zone to where they get the initiative. But if you utilize smoke at the same time, you can kind of teamwork it. You can bring the smoke will actually bring it back more into your zone itself. So that way you'll get 2 actions in a row. So I think things like that need to be looked at, how that could be added in there to balance it out, because there are tactics counters or tokens for the VC to where they can do extra damage, things like that, which I think is fantastic for a solo bot or for a solo aspect of the game. But the Marines also have to have that same sort of capability in the game. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Sorry, nothing to add. Neither Kev nor I have played Purple Haze, so.
Yeah, that's why I was commenting on it. So.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I noticed that John Sai said something about getting the discount with GMT or on a P500 is your interest on your loan to them, right? But it's even better than that because you get the discount for making a commitment, a non-financial commitment. So now you may find it cheaper later, or they may put it on sale or something like that. But you've locked in a 30% discount, and you don't have to give it the money until it's time. Whereas with Kickstarters, generally speaking, I won't back a Kickstarter if it's charging me retail what is going to be the retail price. I'm not backing it. So it needs to be cheaper if you're getting my money up front. So and or give me more stuff, right? That you won't be able to get at retail potentially.
Mm-hmm. No, that's true. Yeah, it's a really good point.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought we were going to talk about some of the stuff we played, but I guess
so. Yeah, we got kind of a little sidetracked. So, what have you been playing?
Someone threw that Facebook hand grenade, right? Who did that?
It blew up the whole show.
Hold on. Let me talk these.
Let me add one more thing about that.
Yeah, let me say this one last thing about Kickstarter.
No, talking about the stuff that we're playing. You had mentioned early on in this mode the tiny tank game that I played, and that was by Forsage Games, the same people who did Age of Dogfights. And I'd stumbled across that game just searching around stuff, and I think you can get a copy of it for like $15, something like that. Real cheap game. The box is yay big.
I think I have it. Somewhere.
Really?
I think I do.
It's Panzer Strike Pocket Edition. Yeah. And it's a cool game. Box. And I like Forsage Games because they try new stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And someone commented on the video and was explaining why it's new stuff. And the guy hasn't confirmed this, but it wouldn't be surprising to me that the designer doesn't play other war games. So he doesn't get ideas from other war games. So his ideas don't get polluted, if that makes sense. And I'm sitting there thinking about it. Well, that kind of would make sense because he's not pulling anything from anyone else. He's not doing chip draws or the combat results table stuff like they're doing. He does his
That's how
dice
you get more
different.
ideas, though, by playing other games.
Well, that's what I was kind of thinking, but he
Mhm.
wants to come up with everything himself. And I think he's had probably success and
Hmm.
some setbacks
I
from
think
that.
he'd
Age of
probably
Dogfights would be the success.
he might find himself a little surprised to find out that he's using mechanics that have been used in games for decades.
Yeah.
So might as well
Well,
just play games, you know?
Yeah. You might as well
when
just
like
play,
with
you know.
with Panzer Strike, the pocket one, he had multiple colored little tank miniatures, and he could have just left them at heavy, medium, light, and been done with it. But he included a little chart that had extra stats, and it's all associated with the colors. So that one single color, by including that extra little player aid, made that one color go from one tank to 3 tanks. So he effectively expanded the game out without having to put a whole lot of effort into it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought the guy did really well with it, and I'm looking forward to trying it. He said he had some problems with the Kickstarter for the big version of it, the more fleshed out, expanded version, but it should be delivering here in a couple of months, I think you said. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna give that one a go when it arrives, but I am expecting good things out of them.
Well, now just to touch on this very, very briefly, DCB, that is a good point, but it's also not something that was unheard of either, because when it comes to support for ground troops, support is not always like it is in the movies, where you have your own, artillery battalion on standby for you. You have air on station, and you have helos that can extract you. You have a certain amount based on your operating area, and whatever can be chopped to you at the time will be chopped to you. If it can't be, it can't be. You're going to be out on patrol a lot of times with no support. Your only support's going to be what you got on your back, mortars, things like that. So there's a valid premise for the game, is what I'm getting at. It doesn't always have to be the big Hollywood, support.
Exactly.
Oh, who can name this movie where this quote's from?
Hey, Ma, can you?
Hey, Ma, can you pass the fucking potatoes?
Oh,
Hamburger Hell.
That
I was going to say it's got to be an old movie.
the racing car guy.
I already said it. Hamburger Hell.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, is it Hamburger Hill?
Yeah. Great movie. You have not seen Hamburger Hill? Got to watch it. Fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real good movie.
Miserable poor guys.
Oh, terrible. So talk about what you've been playing, Kev.
So speaking of minis, I did play, I don't know if you guys
miniatures game?
So yeah, I played tank charts from the 70s or the early 80s.
Yes.
And so I got online with this buddy of mine, Clay, and 3 other guys. And the 4 of us, we took a tank each. I had a T-34-85, and the other 2 guys had Panther 5s and 5Ds. And so we started out at 4,000 meters and just closed in, right? And
nice.
And we had video cameras set up, and our friend Clay measured with tape measure, and moved all the guys in, and we just sat there giving orders and doing stuff and side chatting, typing notes to each other about tactics and stuff. Of course, which the Russians couldn't do because they didn't have radios. But so that all was fun. It was a good time. So that was my little miniatures experience recently. That was fun.
So you're gonna go out and buy miniatures now?
No. No, now I have Clay.
Got that out of my system. I'm good to go.
He'll just run it. He just had this really cool rug and put the tanks out, and we closed in. And tank charts reminded me a lot of MBT, Mandela tank or Panzer.
Yep.
Same. Yeah.
What is your thing against miniatures?
No, I have nothing against them. Dude, I'm 58. And I'm not going to start painting and collecting.
He wants to avoid the rabbit hole.
And making all that bullshit, right? If someone wants to sell me at a really good price, and it needs to be the right scale and all the rest of it, like either an Ancients army, so I can do the Second Punic War and the whole thing, right? Or modern for skirmish, sure, sign me up. I think I've got 4 different. Is it De Bella Antiquitas or whatever it is?
Mm-hmm.
I've got those rules. Someone sent me like 20 little miniatures to try, and I goofed around with them a little bit, but I haven't really done much else. So I don't have anything against them, man. I just don't want to waste the time. Right?
Nice.
Let's get him a box of Space Marines or something.
Now there's
Just
some good ones. There's some good miniatures out there, the modern miniatures. You can go like 15 mil, or you can go 28 mil.
I mean, I get super excited about all that. I love. We'll look at, I troll the Spectre miniatures site all the time.
Oh yeah,
I would just get all over that action all the time. But I'm just not gonna.
Hey John, so is the Marine Corps birthday,
Right.
November 10th, 1775, in a bar, Tun Tavern.
Well, it's the only birthday that matters. I mean, who cares about the Navy? It's taxi service. They're just
Tim
getting
said,
where we
"Wow,
need to
Tim,
go."
you never swear under duress."
You've never been under duress, then.
Yeah.
No, some people are. I mean, people all do act, differently. Some people are just so mechanical, almost under duress, that they don't necessarily curse.
No, I served with a guy that was like that. While we deployed, and I'm not going to call him out just in case he happens to be watching this. Him and his brother, two of the nicest guys, but they never cursed. And it was a waste of man meat because these guys were gorgeous. I mean, I'm not gay, but if I ever go gay, I'm going to give him a call because the guy's just a Greek god. I mean, he's beautiful. They had women just falling off of them, and they both, saved it for marriage and never cursed. I mean, they're the epitome
of Christian soldiers.
Yes, they're Captain America incarnate, right? The nicest guys ever. But they take fire and they go, "Oh darn it, this is bad." Just no cuss word ever came out of those guys' mouth.
Wow.
Good job.
Mad respect. Don't get me wrong. I love the guys. I mean, they're two of the greatest guys I ever served with, but couldn't get them to cuss. And we tried. We offered. We bribed. Nothing worked.
So this is a little behind, but Dave is saying 55 to 60% off MSRP. I guess that's distributor price.
Yeah, so. I think he must have gone back and started the stream and then is catching up.
Wait, that's his cost?
No, that's what he's selling.
That's what he sells to distributor.
To 55 to 60% off of retail for wholesalers.
Okay, so it's basically double the cost, roughly.
A college diploma that says Harvard is going to cost you $280,000, while one that says State U is going to cost you $120K. Give me $50,000, I'll get you a Harvard diploma tomorrow, or a Harvard degree tomorrow. Photoshop is a wonderful thing. You can also get one from
useless, dude.
You can also get one from the University of Science, Music and Culture. That's where.
Seriously, no, not to get off topic here, but with the exception of being
just had to be started
of a physicist or a legitimate doctor or something like that, there really isn't a whole lot of reasons to go to college because the wealth of human knowledge is at your fingertips. You can learn almost anything you want to know online, on YouTube, Google it, whatever you want to do. Everything is out there. So unless you have some high-end skill you're going for, you really don't need a college education anymore.
I think a trade is better, but that's just me.
Yeah,
that's experience.
There's a movement. There's a movement amongst college kids. We're seeing a lot of that with. I've got two kids in college right now. They're seeing a lot of their friends pulling out of college and going into a trade or taking a year off and working, and trying to work out what it is they want to do, and they're not sure they want to have the $200,000 in debt, or the college fund. They want to keep that to spend it on something else at some point, right? So they're also not as dedicated or committed to a particular school. A lot of kids are bouncing schools, so if school's not working out for them, they're off to somewhere easier or different. That's a big thing right now, and this all sort of catalyst from COVID.
Yeah. Well, Peter, that is not a reprint. It is a second edition.
Yeah, and
it says it specifically on the box, not a reprint.
Yeah, and to be fair to Walker, I think it is. Well, it's not even Walker. It's really Shane's driving it, right? All the artwork is different for the counters and stuff. The charts are different.
The charts, the rule book, everything. It's a second edition.
I've seen a copy of the new rule book. It's better.
Really? Good.
But so yeah, it's not just a reprint. And anyway, you can do that's Kickstarter's eligible for that, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I got no problem with it.
It was Everything Epic. Is that the company we're talking
Everything
about?
Epic.
Okay, there we
Yes,
go.
Everything Epic.
They
That's the
made
name.
Rambo. Yeah,
I don't know if they made Rambo or not, but I
they
just
made
was
the Rambo game. Yeah.
I was very disappointed with them. I hate to say that, but they dropped the ball. I'm hoping it's just me they dropped the ball with, and they don't treat all their people like that. But
Yeah.
I make and I've told you about this before, Mo. I make a point of not using my Gimpy Gamer email address when I deal with companies, because I mean, even though my reach is tiny, I still don't want them to treat me any different. So I use a different email address so they don't know me from Adam on the off chance the person happens to be a war gamer and know I might be able to call them out for it. I want to just see how they do it, and they did bad.
Hey, here's a comment here. John saying, read a review on MMP Angle. I looked at their website, $100 including shipping. It's a little game, not going to pay that. That is all I want to know about finances. Number one, wait till it goes on sale. Well, number two, wait till it goes on sale during the yearly sale. Number one, get the game. Get the game. If you have 3 other players you can play with, get the game. It is absolutely well worth it. It's the best multiplayer war game you can play.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
But they only do their sale once a year at the end of the year.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've seen it for sale for $30. So, and I almost bought it for $30. I've played it 7-8 times.
Mm-hmm.
I would hands down play it again, but you have to have 4 players.
Are you coming to Dallas in May?
I don't know. Am I? What's happening in May?
That's a question. If you're coming to Dallas, I'll bring my copy of Angola. We'll play. We'll get 2 other knuckleheads and we'll play.
Sure.
If we can get this knucklehead to come join us.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys didn't live halfway across the world,
3 crayons, we'll just move to Texas, numbnuts.
I tried talking her into moving somewhere. She has different ideas of where I want to move.
Ideas?
Yeah. She wants to move certain places, and I want to move other certain places.
How adorable. Maybe you should have worked it out before you got married.
Well, we did work out the important things before we got married.
Yeah, I didn't think.
Why is it worth $100?
We didn't agree on the number of kids.
No, and she still pulls that shit because before we got married, she always said, "Yeah, I want 2 kids," and I was like, "Great, I want 2 kids. This will work out perfect." We had 2 kids, and she's like, "All right, I'm ready for 3." And I'm like, "No, we said 2," and she said, "No, I said at least 2." I'm like, "What? No, that's you're changing the rules mid game. We can't pull this." And then she got naked. Yeah, that's how it works.
Here's another good customer service story. Bill Durant saying, bought from Salerno to Rome from Simula in Italy. He sent his money to the wrong PayPal account. And when this became apparent, he sent me the game anyway, trusted me to pay when it got sorted. That absolutely deserves to be recognized.
That's fantastic. Mad props.
Yeah, that's fantastic on their part. So something to keep in mind when it comes to backing games or buying from anybody out of the country, especially for US gamers that, if you're going to buy it from somebody in Europe, Simula is one to definitely show some respect to, because they showed respect to the customer here. And it was an honest mistake. That those things can happen. And they know that PayPal will get it sorted out. So hopefully that gets sorted out for them quickly so they can get their money.
And that's the name of the company is Simula?
Simula. Oh, Bob Smith is in the audience here. He's saying, Stigler, if you want a good game on Nam, check out Save South Vietnam, newly out from Fortress Games, which I have a video up on the channel for that, and Save Afghanistan Comrade. So,
did you like him?
Have not played him yet. I have. I just have not gotten to him. I'm jamming through a bunch of stuff right now. I still have to finish out my assault games. I have not finished all of them. I want to play that more to get a better.
Right.
To get more better notes for
my next one's a tank battle. I haven't done it yet. So.
Oh, nice. What do you think? I mean, what are your opinions so far?
It's okay. Yeah, it's got some oddities, and it's interesting, and it's light. So I think it's a good introductory war game.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful components, but it's just got some, like, as a guy who likes tactical war games, it's got a couple of funky things, right? So the retreating and some of the combat, I don't know. I need to play it more.
That first scenario or second scenario. Now, granted, it's a training scenario, but I found that the way with the tanks, the way that the objective is, it's over on the far right. Basically, you're rushing there, and you have terrain in between you. So it's basically just rush up into the hills and through the trees, to grandmother's house we go, and you rush to try to get to the hill. The Germans are going to have the advantage from the terrain approach on their side. The Soviets are not. So it basically just becomes who's going to run up there first, who's going to run up and try to challenge him, who gets hosed first is really what it comes down to, that game or that scenario, which is fine because it's intended to be get you going you're going to get into combat fast, and you're going to, because it's a short game, it's like 6 turns, and it takes you a couple turns just to get up into that area. So you only have like 2, maybe 3 turns where you're going to actually be involved in combat.
So maybe I should just set up 4 tanks and on hills and shoot each other and see what happens.
Kind of, sort of. But no, I mean, I kind of liked it, but at the same time, I was like, man, that is not necessarily the best first impression for people. Now, again, it's a training scenario. So if you play that when you get it, do not let that influence how you feel about the game, because that is incredibly rudimentary.
I'm super curious about the formations and how that's all going to work. And there's here's this formation and this formation. So it's very specific, SS division or German, a designation for a guards division for the Soviets or a German division. And you're like, oh, this is really cool. But then it's just, okay, grab a platoon of tanks and a platoon of infantry and a platoon of this, a platoon of that. And I'm kind of like, okay. So is it historical?
Is it window dressing or not?
Yeah. So the whole sort of layer above, and because I have a campaign in there, right? So how is all that going to work? And that I don't have an appreciation for to really make, and a determination on whether I really like it or not. I don't mind the mechanics of the game. There's some of the things that are a little bit goofy, but it's not a bad game, and it's beautiful.
No, it's a gorgeous game, and I think for their first try, I think they did an amazing job component-wise. The other thing I did like is one of the things that really jumped at me right away, especially for the first-time game. Facing matters for vehicles. And I like that because that's an aspect a lot of games don't always cover in tactical games. I mean, the good tactical games generally do, but this one does, and it's pretty straightforward. You just face the spline. But that's something that if you're just getting into tactical games, you're just going, just move my tank around, he's going to shoot. It's like, no, actually, it does matter. Is it a turret or no turret? I mean, if you got a Stug versus a T-34, T-34 is a turret. They can traverse. The Stug has to move, So
it was also, I thought, interesting that, it's Assault Red Horizon 41. So it looks like he's planning on 42, continuing that whole theme as a set of modules. So and I think he's a first time designer as well, and really not borrowing. Well, borrowing some things from games, right? That's the thing. I'm just not a huge fan of the custom dice, right?
Balance issues and stuff like that. The literal weighted side of the dice they're not balanced weight wise.
Yeah, it's kind of just felt kind of goofy there. But
I do kind of like them at the same time.
Yeah, I like the matching off of hits and things and all that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Anyway. I love custom dice. I always find it much better when they do something different besides the typical D6. D6, 2D6. It's like all you ever see in war games now. Anything else. D12, D8. Give me something. Custom dice. I love custom dice. That's why I always thought, what was that game Academy Games put out? Agents of Mayhem.
Mayhem?
Yeah, I always thought that one was so underrated. Custom dice, good minis, nice 3D terrain. Really good game, and it just didn't pick up as well as it should have. But sorry,
is that on sale? Or is it still expensive? Because I like the look of that.
No, it's on sale. I think you can get it the base game for probably $60 at the most.
I might go have a look at it.
Yeah, depending on
Joshua is saying that he's proud to have the only kill of the evening before Kev said it was past his bedtime.
Yeah, that is true. So Joshua is busting my balls. So it was like, Joshua, I'm not going to, how can I say this without getting into trouble? I'm not suitable for work. I was on a promise. So it was bedtime, you know what I'm saying? So it was 11 or 11:30, and
it was curfew for Kev.
Curfew for Kev. And so I had to go. It was actually more like 11:45, I think, Joshua.
Nice.
So I avoided him killing me because the two Panthers, they just stopped. They could see us before we could see them. They could shoot further than us, and they could penetrate deeper than us with their APFS DS and all that sort of nonsense. And they were, I was the last tank left, so I was turning in to do the suicide charge, see if I could get a shot off. And I was like, oh, that's the end of that turn. I need to go. So.
Nice. So yeah, Hamburger Hill was one of Don Cheadle's first movies. It's an older movie.
We got money, 99 cents. Woohoo!
Oh, nice.
I know the name, but I can't place the face.
Don Cheadle. He did. He was in the Marvel.
The black
Captain
guy,
America. Captain America. Yeah, and he was also in
War
Hotel
Machine.
Rwanda. War Machine.
Yeah, that
guy. Was he War Machine? Yes.
Yeah, that's
the
Don
first
Cheadle,
guy, not
right?
the guy. Yeah, not
with, the first one, but from
not
the
not the guy
on.
on your left. Not I forget all the characters' names in the Marvel movies, but not that guy.
War Machine. The guy played War Machine in Iron Man.
Iron Man. Yeah. Not Captain America. Iron Man.
Yeah, I was like, I know the name Don Cheadle, but I can't place it. I like the first guy that played it, but he was so stupid to do whatever he did to get out of it, because that would have been a lot more money in his pocket if he had stuck with the role.
True.
Anyway, left field.
So what else you got going there, Nate, game wise for you, and then we'll go back to Kev.
Well, let's see. I already mentioned Sacred Oil. I guess the next big thing, I'm finally going to finish up Point Blank, because that's been put off a little bit too much. But the boot camp series for that will be finished up here soon. There's only a handful of videos left for that. And then I'm finally going to get a chance to play Axis and Allies, because I've never played it. And I've always heard things about it. And that was kind of like a extra Christmas bonus gift, was the 1940 big set, so I could lay out all 4 maps and do the whole world. I've heard it's a real long game, so I don't know exactly how long I'll get to play it, but I'm looking forward to laying it all out and just trying a big Axis and Allies series and see how good that game is.
Oh, nice. I'm trying to catch up. I am so far behind on these comments, and somebody was asking, it was Dave was asking what's in Dallas in May, and that's going to be CSW Expo Dallas. So new copies of Angola on BGG for $55. Get it. Good game. What else is up for you next, Kev?
Next. So let's see. I'm playing Nordcap, the old SPI magazine game. That's kind of fun where it, it's a very abstract thing, but we're enjoying the heck out of it. We've got 2 turns on Vassal done last night. That was cool. I'm playing Goss. Finally, I think I told you, Mo, and if I mentioned to you, Nate, but some nice guy posted a comment on a video and said, look, I got this Goss game. If I send it to you, will you play it? Because it's beyond me. So, and he's actually a former Marine. He was a gunner on the Helos in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
And so I said, absolutely, I'm on it. So I've got it set up. I've got half of 1 turn done. I'm playing a tiny scenario on half a map, and just to kind of get my feet wet and see. So I'm doing that. That's the big thing at the moment, I think. And I've got South China Sea, Indian Ocean, little learning scenario that's set up, and that's it at the moment.
Nice. And then Bob's saying he can't wait till we do play one of the games, Save Afghanistan or Save South Vietnam. I'm looking forward to seeing that. So
I was going to ask if you guys have noticed that it seems like a lot of Kickstarters either deliver or are delivering right in the January, February timeframe, because I've gotten so many messages, so many emails about this delivering, that delivering. It seems like all of them are coming in. Maybe the ship finally came in from China, whatever the hell we've been waiting on. But I swear at least 5 that I've backed are all going to deliver within the next month or so, which is going to keep me busy for a little while. So that'll be nice. But I'm still looking forward to Compass Games getting their shit done.
So it's pronounced Marx's Marxist Marx. Missed the T in there for the media.
Yeah, he's going to need to change his name.
I love it, though. That's great. And then Henry's saying, in regards to OST 1, I would love to see historical leaders, Wittman, Abrams, etc., all the bigger tanks, and what if tanks would have been fun. Mouse also what if scenarios allies versus Russia. So,
Hmm.
well, the mouse would be kind of cool, except it would probably take up 4 hexes and it would move a half a hex every turn
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
break
might not
down
be
every
enough.
full hex.
Might be not terribly dynamic, all right?
Yeah, you'd have to have a 25-person crew and then 7 retrievers behind it and its own.
Well, you know they had a plan for a bigger one, right? Bigger than the mouse. I think they called it the Rat. It was
Don't-
something like a land battleship. It was effectively the size of like 4 mouse tanks.
really,
Yeah.
Wow.
Like look it up. It's RATTE, I think is the name of
really.
it. Yeah.
Huh.
It was like battleship level cannon on the top of it. Their idea was it was a slow moving bunker that could be
You're not thinking of the train gun, are you?
No, this one
Okay.
actually had treads. I watched some
Okay.
YouTube video on it.
How much be true?
Yeah.
The rat.
One of the ones that
It
covers
sounds
all the-
vaguely familiar, but I don't remember it
Is
being
that the thing
that
with
big.
the two guns out the turret?
Yeah, I think so.
You're a crackhead. Look at this.
No, seriously. And it was like a multi-gun turret. Their plan was to
The
drive it
Land
along and
Cruiser. The
fill in
Land
gaps.
Oh, the Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
I do remember
Cruiser.
the Land
The
Cruiser.
P1000.
This is where we need Uwe right here with us, so he can go into his full-on German and share it with us the best way possible.
Yeah, when he's 3 sheets to the wind.
Yeah,
It
that's
has
even better.
two by 280 millimeters, 4 by 128 AA, 4 by 128 millimeter AA guns, and 8 Daimler-Benz engines, 20 cylinders.
Yeah, that's what I want. Screw the mouse.
Yeah,
Put that into a game.
yeah,
Damn.
yeah. Hose down the front yard, and that thing ain't going anywhere.
Well, that was the thing. They figured out they couldn't drive it across any bridge ever,
Right.
and that it would sink into any ground that it tried to drive across. So
That's
it's pretty
crazy.
much, a neat idea, but it would never happen.
Yeah. Well, they definitely had some goofy ideas. That's for sure.
Well, you got to give them credit. It was either go big or go home, and they went with go big.
They went both.
Yeah.
They went big. They went all the way to Russia, and they went all the way back home again too. There and back again. It was like the Hobbit's
That's a
tale.
long walk.
Well, that's the thing. Numbers matter. Their tanks might have been better, and that's what they're always remembered for. Is especially things like their Panthers were excellent tanks.
Panther was the best tank of the war.
Yeah, and it
That
would
T-34.
yeah, it would smoke a Sherman easy, but for every one Panther they had, we had like 20 Shermans. Same as far as T-34s go. Doesn't matter if you can produce the
T-34s
best.
were like, yeah, they printed those things like the Fed prints money. I mean, they were just building them like crazy. The T-34s, they were a great vehicle too. They were
Yeah, but it was
zippy fast little tank.
Yeah, first introduction of sloped armor too, I think, right? And that made all the difference.
Panther also had sloped armor.
Yeah, but the Panther was after the T-34.
Trying to remember who was the first one with the sloped armor, if it was a T-34 or not. You could be right. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Yeah, y'all put it in the comments, right? But I think
yeah,
it was
if anybody knows, they'll in the let's see. Steve Jackson's Ogre. There you go.
Yeah, that would be freaking awesome.
But if anybody knows what the tank was that did the first with the sloped armor, because that makes a huge difference in armor penetration. Because if you have just your flat armor, but then when you slope it, it changes significantly, massively, the armor penetration. So
yeah, that was one of the things for the Tigers, the fact that it had super, super thick armor, but it was all flat. Didn't matter which side it was all flat.
Well, it could also hit you from like 3 times the distance that you could hit.
Yeah.
So, I could sit back at like 2,000 yards and shoot at you and you're reaching 800 meters,
Well, that's why I like that movie Fury so much. You guys have seen that one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Look, I understand it's not perfectly, totally accurate, but they had a real Tiger tank in it, one of the last functioning Tiger tanks.
Yeah.
Actually, plays the Tiger tank in that, and it's just a cool-ass movie to see Sherman's having to try to fight a Tiger, and they're firing everything they have. They can't penetrate it, and they have to finally get around to the rear to put a shot up his ass.
So
take him out.
Little Willie's, everybody's saying here, that was the tank that had the in World War One. That was the British tank that
I
had
thought it
the
was the
sloped
French
armor.
tank that had the French had the sloped armor as well, the CA-1 or something like
They
that.
may have that might have come after the British one. I think they well
I think
I don't know if that was first.
this was sloped on the rear though.
Oh, really?
Not just that it was sloped though, like
So they were protected while they were
purpose
You're
running
saying
away.
on the nose.
yeah,
So
being protective. Like, was the Little Willie designed with sloping armor
he missed my
for
joke.
that purpose?
Never mind.
No, I missed your joke.
You totally missed the joke.
What? I don't have a Little Willie. That's for friggin'
No,
kids.
that totally.
Proof.
Wow, you forget.
Well, you can still procreate with a small, that doesn't mean the sperm has to travel further. What are you talking about?
That little Asian
Henry's saying
guy.
the T-34 was first and was designed by an American.
Hmm.
And then Fango is saying French
There we go.
S-35 and
Yep.
R-35 were sloped.
There you go. It's the French, I think.
I think there's a difference between having some slopes on it and being designed with sloping armor for that purpose to increase the effective armor. All right, if you kind of get my point.
Well, here's the thing. Stigler was saying it was a comic book, horrible war movie. One of the things I will say that Fury did get good, I thought, that did get it right and was interesting was a combination of having to have the infantry in support of the armor. And then when they got into those engagements with the packs and then also with the tank, the tank one was a little wonky, but with the packs, when they got involved with those guys, they were in the tree line and they took a shot at them. The first time you take that shot, it just zings past our heads so fast. And then another one skips off and goes off into the countryside, I think it actually skips off the side armor or something. The sound of that thing and how fast those rounds went down range was very accurate. That was actually, I thought, really cool. That was what it was like to be a tanker when it comes to those types of rounds going down range. They move fast. So I thought that part was cool. Other than that, though, I kind of, it had okay parts.
No, I agree with you. I think too many movies portray it like you can see bullets moving, and people have this idea that when you fire, you can see where the round's going. It's no,
the sounds were good.
Yeah, you're not going to see it. You're going to have to listen to it.
It was more of an emotional movie and a sort of a CGI treat or a cinematics treat than it was a historically accurate thing. It was fine.
Yeah, it was eye candy. If you want to see want to see a real historically accurate movie, watch the movie T-34. It's free on YouTube. I'm only kidding.
Yeah, but isn't it Russian?
It's Russian.
Bad.
It was. If you sit down and watch it for an action flick, it's not a bad movie. It was entertaining. It was entertaining. But I was so amazed when I saw that movie. I did not realize it was so historically accurate. I did not realize how giant the inside of a T-34 is and how many people could actually be inside of it at one time.
Yeah. It's like
the girl in there and two other guys, and I'm like, what the hell?
They're having tea.
Yeah. I was like, they're playing a game of friggin' OST on the table there.
Have you seen that? What's that game? Ghost Tiger or something? You seen that one?
Which one?
There's a movie called Ghost Tiger. Anyway, we're going way off track. Never mind.
No, we got to find out what this is now. There is another one. I forget the name of it, but there's one you can find it on YouTube.
Skywalker.
You can find it on YouTube. I've shown some of the people that are in the chat here. I've shown this video.
Might be white. Maybe it's White Tiger.
White Tiger?
Tiger King.
I have not watched that direct.
Neither have I, but my wife loves it.
My wife did. Yeah. She's like, oh, you got to. I'm like, no, I don't need to see that. I really don't.
She kept going around for like a week. Carol Baskin's a bitch. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to hear it anymore.
Yeah. I'd rather watch Lord of the Rings or Vietnam documentary or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm usually watching.
Which, if you've not seen it, is a fantastic documentary.
The Vietnam documentary?
Yes. Outstanding.
On Netflix or something?
It was, but I would say buy it. It's really good. Well worth having.
I don't know. I always like watching those training videos, like when they follow one of the training schools, like the Marine survival schools or shit like that, to see how well they accurately portray it. or how
Mhm.
much they try to Hollywood it up, because it doesn't matter what it is. They always try to make it seem as, extravagant and out there as possible.
King Tiger, Tiger King stinks.
You're scrolling too fast. I can't
So
read.
everybody's saying White Tiger movie on YouTube. So that is the one.
Yeah, it's really bad, but it's great, right?
Ken Burns documentary, documentary. Wait for it. The Bomb. Very well done. See, even Stigler agrees, and he doesn't agree with clipping or anything, but he agrees with this.
And he hates DG. When I was traveling, I tried to watch that and the American Civil War one that Burns did, and so when I was traveling a lot, I get to the hotel. I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch an episode, and I sit
Fall
down
asleep halfway through it.
Yeah, I wake up and be like 4 episodes gone. I was like,
yeah, it's they're pretty in depth. They're really well done. Ken Burns is genius when it comes to doing documentaries. He really is. I don't care a whit about baseball, and several people that I know that are baseball fans, and even that they're kind of casual baseball fans, even they've told me I need to watch the history of baseball that he did. And because it's him, I probably would watch it because he'd go into the history. And, I don't care necessarily about the game, but the history of the sport itself would be, I think, interesting and fascinating to watch. Right. So I might watch that sometime.
Well, you can report back.
Yes.
Yeah, you can tell us all about it because I don't care about baseball either. Yeah, Battlefield Vietnam. I've watched a lot of the Battlefield series. Battlefield 360, the Enterprise.
I don't like apple pie. No, actually, I do like apple pie, but it's crumb apple pie I will eat. But baseball's too slow, man. I need speed. I need hockey or racing. I baseball is. I liked baseball when I was a kid. Growing up in New Jersey, I was a Yankee fan back in the day. Mickey Rivers and Ron Guidry and Thurman Munson, all those guys I grew up watching. That was fun, but it was like, okay, then I found hockey, and then I was just like, nothing else could come close.
Right.
So, a game where you can punch your opponents. That's where it's at, right?
Exactly.
Hey, instant gratification, instant police actions. Boom, all done.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it going. Let's ask Mitch when Taiwan's going to ship.
Yes, when's next war Taiwan going to ship? When's next war Taiwan going to happen?
Yeah. I keep putting off buying a secondhand copy because it's any day now, right? Well, not
so Mitch, when is that ship? Well, you're still waiting for 3. For the third expansion.
Yeah, I know.
Poland and all.
The third supplement I can do with or without. I want I want Taiwan and I want the Next War Poland expansion.
I think I've only got Next War Poland. Can't remember. Yeah, it is Next War Poland that I have because I never got Korea.
You should play that. You would like it.
That's a great question.
I need to pull it out. Response. One I need to. Mo, get back on topic. Yeah. Stop talking about baseball.
Yeah, well, it was just
we talk about.
And then Mitch was here, so we had to pick on Mitch a little. We got to get Mitch on the show because we'll talk to him very soon. We'll get him on.
Well, when he's getting close to actually having a game that's going to print.
Well, he's got one game that's coming out now that's actually shipping that he developed.
Oh, Vietnam, yeah.
He was working on that.
He just did all the development work. All the play testers did all the hard work. He's just collecting the big check.
Wow.
Making money, making bank from that game.
So you're saying
Mitch is this the one from GMT?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Victory Games reprint. Well, it's not a reprint. It's a second edition.
It's a second edition.
Yeah, but it's basically the same game.
Going with the spirit of what we've been talking about tonight. Not a reprint. It is a second edition.
Yeah, exactly.
They say it's the GMT edition.
Yeah, which would be the second overall edition of the game.
Yeah, and the status on that is charging.
Charging.
Yeah, it's I got that.
Got charged for that, and I got charged for AGC. So yeah, see both of those.
Yeah, but it doesn't say it's shipping yet. Damn it!
So Poland second edition and supplement 3 are getting close. Now, which one do you say you have, Nate? Next War?
He said he had Poland.
I've
So you
got
have Poland.
I've got next war Poland. Yeah, I don't have Korea yet. I will have
Okay.
to get it at some point. But now I'm looking at a Vietnam game, and I can't.
Vietnam
'Cause every
65,
time I talk to
75
you
or next
guys,
war Vietnam.
no, the 65-75.
Okay. Get it.
Like every time I talk to you guys, like I keep adding stuff to this, and I
We
made
need to
her a
get- we
promise
need
that
to
I
get-
wasn't going to buy any more
We
games.
need to get some codes from these publishers because every time we say something, Nate's like, I gotta get that now. I want to get a piece of the back end on this.
Yeah, well, at least just track how many people buy off our nonsense, right?
Exactly. But that's
Mo,
the
the
point,
last time
expose games to
Me and you were chatting,
Uh-huh.
right? It was in the Compass Games bullshit, their town hall, and you were talking about that World War I game, Empires and Alliances, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and order that real quick, and got that one in. So yes, I blame you.
I've got that up on. I've got that there still in shrink. I haven't even had a look at it yet.
Nice. That's
I've actually
the
got it sitting on the
influencer.
table. It's the next one that she's going to do a guesses on, and
Oh,
then I'll
nice.
get it to the table.
Nice.
That and
well, I got
it's two
What's
Compass
that?
games. It's the Empires and Alliances, and then that submarine game that I'm
Which
drawing a brain for it on, the old one.
Steel Wolves.
The old one with a buttload of counters. Steel Wolves. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I got Assault. I got to finish through that, and then I want to try to take a quick run through either or the Save South Vietnam or Save Afghanistan Comrade, one of the two or both, depending, because they use similar systems or the same system, so you can bounce from one to the other.
And they're point to points, right?
What's that?
They're point to point games.
Yeah, it's areas. It's area control.
Right.
So it looks that looks like it'd be interesting, but the one thing I'm not sure if I want to go from one to the other or play something else and then come back, because if you go from one to the other and they're very similar, they just have different theaters, you can miss some of the nuance between the differences, and it's like otherwise you're just like, it's just a rethemed game, it's a reskin game, it's the same game.
It'd be like playing a Thai bomber game.
No. No, because there's no nukes in this one.
Oh, there's no nukes. That's right. Yeah.
Like I was saying in the ACDC, I was like, man, if there's anybody that could put nukes in a Napoleonic game, it would be Ty Bomba. He would find a way to get nukes.
He would find a way to put nukes in it. Yeah.
He would have some sort of thing where Napoleon somehow got a time machine and was able to go forward and come back with nukes and a means of deploying them.
And he justified with a really cool 1,200 word article.
Yes, and he'd have a nuclear donkey, and he would take it and send it into the enemy troops, and kaboom. So there we go. I think that would be funny. Oh, God, Mitch, this is why you're a developer, Mitch. Area equals point to point equals hex. They're all variations in geometry.
No, hex is better.
I can't wait to get him on the show.
We've got to get Mitch on.
Sorry.
When you find out when Next War Poland, I've talked to him about coming on the show before, and he wants to join us. When Next War Poland is ready to go, we'll get you on the show so that way we can try to help boost the sales a little bit, and at the same time just get you on and let Kev pick on you. We'll just have fun.
I'm going to see him in April, I think.
Oh, are you going to a con in April?
Mm-hmm.
Schwanky
Con. Yeah.
Nice. There we go. I was thinking about KC. That sounds like it could be interesting. No, it's an in-person.
We need to all get together at
the KC Historic Fest. That KC Historic Fest sounds interesting. In Missouri.
How about one that's closer my direction?
Nobody wants to play games.
No one wants to go to South Carolina or wherever the hell it is you live.
You need to start GimpyCon.
Yeah. What? So 3 people can show up, and one being me, the other being the wife.
Well, there's a bunch of
3 people
in the Carolinas. Aren't you close to like Virginia and shit like that?
Yeah.
There's war gamers there.
No, I'm like
and you
2
said
hours
3
from the border.
And you said only 3 would show up. It would be you, and then you said 2 other idiots. It's like, well, you got 2 other idiots right here. So if us 3 showed up, that would be a great con right there.
Yeah, you guys are not going to come all the way out to North Carolina just for GimpyCon con. That ain't
I'd
gonna
come
happen.
out for a 3-day weekend or something
Yeah,
like that.
why not? I can even bring
No,
my wife.
we need
and
to
she
do
she can
like
go out with your wife.
WBC.
You guys can go. They can go shopping, and we can
If
play
it's
board
hookers
games.
and blow, I'm in. Let's do it.
You know, we were actually talking about that the other day.
What, hookers and blow?
Yeah. No, not hookers and blow. We were talking about
He's getting the evil eye
guys-
from the wife.
Yeah, I know.
I may or may not have been getting the evil eye. But she was talking to me about y'all's wives, and I was like, "No, I'm sure they're very nice ladies, and you would like them." She's like, "Well, I better because you don't get along with my girlfriend's husbands, and this just isn't going to work unless I get along with their wives." Seriously, like
And-
the friends that we have in this area, we've had her female friends before. That what? Oh, she's yelling at me. I got told to shut up.
Another reason to move to Texas.
Yes. We have neighbors.
So
that
Mitch
keep
is saying
going
Historic
outside.
KC Fest is in August. So that is one that I'm
That's the one that's
tempted
in
to
Missouri?
check that out. What was that?
That's the one that's in Missouri.
Yes, that's where Kansas City is.
No. I like
So
the
we've got that.
WBC.
And what's that?
I like the WBC. We need to go to that.
WBC, yeah, I'd like to go to WBC again too. This year is going to, it depends if it even happens, this year. Didn't happen last year. And right now, it's kind of hard to predict what's going to happen and what's not. And then, of course, you also have to bear in mind restrictions in the areas and stuff like that. Personally, I'm not going to go to a convention if I have to wear a mask. I'm just not. I'm not going to sit there for all those days wearing a mask. Just not going to happen.
Yeah.
If that's the requirements, I respect them. I'm just not going to. I'm just not going to go.
Same here. Yeah. I usually go to a con in February. I'm not.
Yes. Yeah.
It's vaccine mandated and mask mandated. It's like, oh well, enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm just not. I'm not going to wear a mask for 4 days. I mean, it saves everybody from looking at my ugly mug, which is fine, but I'm not comfortable. So no,
Not happening.
Well,
gets in the way of the whiskey.
It gives technical difficulties too, because anyone you're interviewing, it's going to be hard to understand what they're saying. You can't make out.
Well, even if you don't go there to interview, just go to play. It's
like when me and Brant were at Gamers Armory the other day, they gave us permission because Gamers Armory is still locked down. There, anytime you're in the store, you have to be wearing a mask, and we were kind of off in the corner away from everyone. They're like, "Look, as long as you guys are at the table, since you're recording, you guys don't have to wear a mask for that. But if you get up, go around the store, you got to put your mask back on."
Yeah,
but I mean, it's his private business, and we'll
he can do whatever he wants. That's great. I can also choose not to support that. So that is what it is.
6:30 appointment with the bone saw. What the hell? I don't like that. 6:30 in the morning. That's an early appointment with the doctor. Hopefully everything's good, John. Let us know.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, we do need to say our condolences to Chris.
For Chris.
Yeah, for those who are not aware, Chris Ridley, it was posted by the Tack Up guys today and Tack Up Wargaming. The word came down that Chris Ridley from CSWBGG, he lost his battle with COVID in November. So he passed at that time. Last time I talked with him, he sent me a message on CSW and November 4th, and he had messaged that his lung capacity was down to 40% and he was on a DNR. So I was like, I kept messaging him, didn't hear anything from him. And then I saw his BGG account had activity December, and I was like, okay, well, maybe, he's just healing up. And then unfortunately though, the Tack Up guys were able to send him an email, and his wife responded that he passed in November. So that's bad news. We hate to hear that. Chris was a great guy.
Very sad. Good guy.
Yeah. He was always active in the community, commenting on everybody's videos, all their posts, stuff like that. So real good guy. He's going to be missed. So definitely condolences to his family and best wishes for him.
Yeah, no, definitely. For everyone's following season, we feel terrible for the family. Our condolences to them. But Tim, being a wise guy here, saying which end, John going to the bone saw. So we go right back into the Snark. But yeah, this is true. Art Wolf and Dan Show always gets off topic, eventually turns to hookers and blow in Stalingrad.
Well, that's a thing.
There you go.
I don't think they had hookers and blow in Stalingrad.
I'm pretty sure they have hookers.
Yes, this is true. Kansas City is also in Kansas, but the con is in Kansas City, Missouri.
No, there's not a Kansas City and Kansas.
Yes, there is.
There's 2 Kansas Cities?
Yes.
Or no, is that the one that's divided by the state
It's
line?
divided.
Yeah, state line and the river.
Okay.
Yep.
Damn, that has to
New
suck.
geometry sucks, dude.
So Brian's saying he's hoping to get to Buckeye Game Fest in Columbus, Ohio, and/or WBC. Where are you going to this year, Kev?
Well, I'm doing the Donkey Kong thing. I may get to Dallas, and then probably something in the fall.
Nice.
No. WBC is
And-
good for that because it's very family friendly and has
Yeah, it's in the
activities
middle
for
of
kids.
nowhere, though. I'm not. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not.
What's that?
It's not-
Which one?
WBC.
Isn't it that the one that's up in the mountaintop?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I can swing that.
It's not as much in the middle of nowhere. You can get to like stores and stuff within 25 minutes.
It's
that's
kind of
handy.
in the middle of nowhere.
So
Which is what I like about it.
An hour a day going to the store. That's awesome. Unless I want.
That's the good part about them having like rides and a gaming room and stuff like that.
Oh,
Kids.
you're thinking about me bringing my family? Not happening.
Look, I can't drive, so
Mitch,
if I
know that.
go,
I said it on purpose.
they have to drive. So this gives them something to do. The kids play video games. They can go bowling. They can
God.
go outside and ride stuff and do
My
all that
kids are
crap.
old.
Like over the film.
Just because they still live here doesn't mean that I have to entertain them. So I'm not bringing the missus with me.
My kids aren't at that age, right? I still have to keep them from, dying. I still have one that wants to take and grab a fork and jam it in a socket to see what happens.
Oh, good. You should try that. You only do it
Future
once.
Marine right there, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I swear to God, little
He
babies.
just passed his ASVAB right there.
No, her. Little girl.
Oh, there you go.
Even
It's
better.
the girl. That's even better.
Y'all ever seen that little video game where the goal is like one person's playing the adult, one's playing the baby, and the baby's goal is to try to kill themselves before the adult can stop them? It's some little stupid game on Steam. It's funny if you watch people playing it because they're always laughing about it. But that shit is just like real life. I mean, Kev, you got kids. You know what I'm talking about. Little kids do anything they can to just try to like murderize themselves.
We have had different children.
Dude, my third youngest was swallowing magnets. We caught that by surprise. Yeah, and that can be fatal very, very quickly. So we had to rush her to the hospital. This was, months back. And luckily,
let's get her in for an MRI and see what the problem is.
No, we didn't need that one, coming out through her chest.
Yeah.
But they had to check to make sure she only swallowed one, because if she swallowed two, they had to do surgery to get them out.
Yeah.
And since she swallowed one, it was able to just pass right on through. But otherwise, the magnets can like pinch down, like connect on a piece of tissue or something like that, and tear them up on the insides. But she just had picked up a handful of colorful magnets and throw them right in the mouth. We're like, no, and we missed one.
We need to talk about like things you leave lying around and things you don't leave lying around. And it sounds like you have more things you shouldn't be lying around than shouldn't be lying around.
My kids, for some reason, anytime they're playing with something, they can't just pull out something and play with it. They have to take the organized box that it's in and tip it over on the floor, pick up their one item and walk away and leave that little mess. And she won't let me come down on them like the wrathful hand of God to stop that behavior. She says, drill instructor is not being a good dad.
So Jeff was saying he enjoyed the interview with the people from Historical Board Gaming about Global War 2025 the other day, which did on the ACDC. And that one, if you guys are into miniatures, that Axis and Allies style, and you want a 1985 Global War, and you want it to be like Axis and Allies for adults, like grown up Grognard Axis and Allies, that's the game you want to check out. Because that one looks really, really cool. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I'm trying to remember, it's like 40 or 50 page rule book or something like that. So it's not like
I
it's
think I clicked on the link. It's a couple $100, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's not cheap.
Is it already out, or they're doing
a
Kickstarter?
No, they're not going to do Kickstarter. I don't believe so.
They're taking orders, aren't they?
They're taking orders for it. Yeah. But it won't be till I think summer, or third quarter, something like that. But it
All
looks
right,
really
I'm,
good.
I'm setting myself a note here. You said Global War 2025.
Global War 2025. They also have a Global War 1985, and they have a Global War 36. So you've got 3 different options to choose from. 85 is what we talked about. And then also, I think they did some mention about 2025. And then we have a question on the Bitter Harvest Kickstarter. That would be for Dave, but Dave says he's got to go. So you'll have
Good
to jump
timing.
on.
You might not get that answer if he jumped off quick. From the last we heard about that from Dave, that should be popping up anytime soon. I did a quick little preview of that using the digital version, which I was very happy to find out we had those master copies, and it was cool. It was fun. There were
what about World of War 85?
Blood and Fury is the next one,
Yeah,
and that should be getting closer. So
Bitter Harvest is first, though, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I think so. I have no idea. I'm sort of confused with some of the lock and load stuff, but
yeah,
I'm just waiting to see what turns up. So right, I'll order it as soon as I see it's available.
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, you know who is getting close, and I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but
Red Strike.
No, yeah, that. But course on Pocket 2. Jack Rady's.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He's like 125 orders to get to their P500 or PXX, whatever it is. So, I think I'm getting a prototype copy to have a look at.
Yeah, I think he was sending you a copy. I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Big Guns there.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the one for Battle for Stalingrad.
Yeah.
That one looks interesting because I just recently, and I've got a video coming out on because I did a unboxing of it. I got a copy of the Excalibur edition, and it was unpunched,
right.
And that's hard to find.
Yeah, it is hard to find. I picked one up in a store years ago, played it. Went and printed out all the little map pieces you had to print out because the map's wrong.
The Excalibur one or the SPI one?
The Excalibur one is wrong as well.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I thought that one was right.
No, it's got a bunch of it right.
So what, you got to print out your own like little overlay to put over the map?
Yeah, there's a bunch of that's a bunch of little hexes you got to do. Anyway, so this guy's got this game. I'm kind of confused about it though. So you get a map and the OB, right? And I guess updated rules, but then you got to have the game.
Yeah, it uses the base game rules, but it's like I'm a little confused too. It's like here's a map which is kind of like it looks like it's a higher out version of Streets of Stalingrad. Kind of has that kind of vibe to it, which I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But then they're like, okay, you get this, and I think you get new counters, and you get new charts, but you have to have the base rules from the base, or you have to have the rules from the base game. And I was like, but it's the Battle for Stalingrad, and you're giving us another version of Stalingrad. What's the difference if you're using the same base rules for this? Is it just a new map? I'm not sure.
So it's an accurate map and an updated order of battle.
It's a lot of money for updated order of
battle. Well, that's the problem, right? I mean, I just don't understand. I've got to go buy. I've got to track down. Well, you can actually go buy it from the Excalibur website. We actually can't buy from the website. You got to download a PDF, fill it in, and then mail it in, or email or scan it, and then upload it and mail it. Like it's like a website from 1980. It's
what is that? GeoCities?
It's I guess it's like a GeoCities website or some bullshit.
Oh crap! That's low rent.
So the game's $40 or $60, however much it is. Then it's $100 for this thing, and I've got to mesh the two things together. Yeah. Sorry, dude. That's what that's called cluster F.
Yeah. That sounds like playtesting.
That sounds like you're paying to correct their mistakes. Like they fixed them, but you got to pay to get the corrected version.
Well, different guy. He's doing
it's separate.
He's got their approval to use their rules, but just rewrite the freaking rule book. Change some words. I mean, people do it all the time. Just do it. Like print your own game.
Well, I mean, if he's charging that much for it, he might as well just re-release the whole damn thing.
Well, exactly.
Instead of making you have the original.
But why not license the rule book from the people and include it in the game in a Ziploc or a box and just be done with it, right?
Yeah, that would make a hell of a lot more sense because he's cutting himself off at the knees to only the people who have it. Period.
Because I got all excited. I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And he's also still trying to do not the L2 version, but the big version, Streets of Stalingrad. He's trying to do his own version of that, the Rats of Stalingrad.
Yeah, the War of the Rats. Yeah, that's what it was.
Now, what the hell he's doing?
Stigler, I think, might be getting confused. He says, "What about Next War SPI, the original?" And then he says, "Those Next War games are pretty chewy, aren't they?" And I was like, "Are you getting confused with the Next War games we're talking about? We were talking about Mitch's games, the Next War series from Vietnam, not Vietnam, from GMT,
right?
Which does have Next War Vietnam. But
then you were also talking about the new game on the website.
Yes,
whatever that website was.
Battle for Stalingrad.
No.
Oh no, the Global War. Yeah,
Global War.
Yeah, that's not like Next War at all. That's different animal altogether. But yeah, I'm confused by that. And I was like, at first I was like, oh, cool, I can update Battle for Stalingrad. That would be, but what am I upgrading? And for $100? No. So maybe they'll come down in price or something. I know it's going to be more expensive for them to print, so I do expect to pay more than you would from a regular publisher, but still $100 is insane for a map and counters.
A new publisher, a new designer, but it needs to make sense, and it doesn't make sense. I'm not going out and buying a game, taking the map and the counters and basically throwing them away.
Yeah.
Taking the rule book out and then using it to play his $100 game.
Yeah.
That all just doesn't make sense to me. Go license the rules from them and sell it to me for $120, right? Or whatever it needs to be.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go buy two games.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, especially when I don't know. Well, the big turnoff is you can order this, but you need to download a copy of this, print it out, send us a self-addressed stamped envelope and a money order.
So I'm assuming it's the website. It had the two games they have.
Yeah,
Magic Realm and Battle for Stalingrad. The red box was on the website, but it was pretty.
It's like cool. 1983 is calling. So
they're the guys who put out Magic Realm.
You're looking now.
Yeah,
that may not be the case. Hang on.
I mean, Magic Realm's got a big following.
Now, Tim's saying it's a lot of money for a subject that's been overdone. No, I don't think. Well, Stalingrad, Bulge, Gettysburg, they all will continually be sellers because they're perennial. I mean, they'll be perennial sellers because they're very popular historical events, and there are a lot of aspects that can be covered in them. And everybody that wants to cover them has a different angle that they want to portray. So,
and it's not Magic Realm. It's Mythic Wars, whatever that is.
Way different. Something I don't know.
Bob's saying everyone has probably seen way more than enough Battle of the Bulge games, but this new Kickstarter does look good. DVG Valiant Defense Lanzareth Ridge, and I think Gimpy has played that.
Yes, Gimpy has played that, and it is very good. Probably my favorite out of the Valiant Defense series. So it is really good. It's definitely one to get. If you like any of the Valiant Defense series that David Thompson's done, this one's definitely worth getting. He did real good with it. He's improved every time he's come out with a new version of it. He's tweaked it, improved it just a little bit. Optional rules in this. I mean, you can pick it up if you know how to play the others, and you'll pretty much know how to play this. It's just the new stuff that you have to learn. It's just really good, and it's a good story on top of it. The history behind it. Yeah, something like 19 guys holding off a buttload of SS troops for an entire day.
Well, being that we already have established geometry sucks for you, how's your math? Well, how much is a buttload?
A lot. Probably a couple of companies worth, I think, in the game, something like that. The SS thought they were going to run over these guys quickly because there was only a handful of them there in defense, and they just went in early in the morning, full frontal assault, and that got pushed back. So then they started changing up their tactics and adding in heavy weapons and artillery later on in the day when they eventually did overrun the guys. But it was like 19 versus however many, I have no idea. Few hundred.
Well, here's another one of those useless facts from Mo. A buttload is actually 127 gallons of wine. That is actually a true measurement.
No shit.
Yes.
Well, we'll say
Another
it's
worthless piece of information that you get from tuning into Whiskey Charlie.
127.
And I don't drink wine. What's that?
127 SS troops, we'll call it.
Yeah, 127. There you go. 127 winos showed up. 126 actually. And then Mitch is saying next war is pretty chewy as its spiritual successor, 8500 Iron Sky, Northern Lights, Sacred Oil. The advanced game in Next War series is pretty chewy, standard as well. The standard game in Next War is really great. Once you get into the advanced game, it changes things dramatically. So it's definitely much more chewy. And first time you play it, the air game, don't commit all your air stuff for your opening salvo because you're going to want to. me and someone else did that when we were playing polo. Like, hey, let's just see how this works. So we're like, we're going to throw up everything. We had nothing left for strikes or anything. We're like,
right.
Let's retcon that a little, shall we? I mean, that's the point of it. We were learning it. So,
right. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. I think as I played that game, like when I played Vietnam the first time, I was like, you know what? NATO or US and allies sitting out turn one. We're not even going to put air up. Just they're going to get air supremacy anyway. So why lose all those units? And so you learn sort of tips and tricks as you go along. That wasn't necessarily a good idea because it did take quite a while to claw back that supremacy that the Chinese got, but nevertheless, it was fun. It was fun.
Well, that's part of the fun of it is the exploration of something like that.
I like the way it was represented in 1985, under an Iron Sky. And I'm assuming it's the same in Sacred Oil where your air forces, you've got the limited air forces, but you've got to allocate them to controlling a certain airspace, so gaining air superiority there, and then you reserve some to commit to your ground support, to your strikes, whatever you do, interception. So your air war is multifaceted, but those guys that do gain air supremacy can be used to stop those incoming enemy air fighters. You don't just put them there and leave them. They do serve a purpose. I really think
air superiority is a big key.
I think
great.
Really well mentioned that. Yeah, it's a more of an air war game really than a ground war game.
Yeah, because if you have the air supremacy, you can dictate where your enemy is going to send their ground forces. Because if they can't bring in air through this sector, they're going to have to go a different way so they can have some support as they're pushing through.
Right.
Really well done. Fabrizio and Tony, really good job on that game.
And that's why I was saying Next War, you got to play Next War as well. Any of the Next War series games. Because like I was saying, the basic game is fantastic, and then the advanced game changes things considerably.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a fantastic series, and Mitch has done an outstanding job on it. And I implore everybody that's into modern warfare gaming, get a copy of it because it's all modern hypothetical, but it's all very realistic hypothetical. This is not like what would happen if Tibet decided to attack Canada. That's not going to happen, that sort of thing. These are like legitimate situations, and they're explored in a mature way and in a respectful way. And I think it's great. And it's just a great system, and hopefully it continues on for a while.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, we're keen to see what comes next. Hey, Mitch, right?
Next war, Ukraine.
Sadly, that'll be a half-turn game.
Well, it could be a half-turn game. It could also be not a what if at that point. It could be a historical board game at that point.
Yeah.
But hopefully not. Hopefully things won't go that route. But
can we just do Next War Canada already and get it over with? They only exist because we allow it.
Oh, don't pick on the Canadians.
Wow. Seriously, I mean, just had Next War Canada. We take them out. Call it a day.
Why would you want to take out Canada? Canada makes fantastic whiskey.
Let's take out Mexico.
It's resource rich and it's full of Canadians.
Canada is the birthplace of Rush, hockey, Triumph, Canadian whiskey. There, I've said my piece. Canada needs to be protected at all costs.
So they've done their best. They've accomplished their mission. Now they can just be extra parking for the U.S.
And they have gorgeous country. I mean, it's gorgeous up there. So
exactly. But tell me, if the U.S. was not here, right? The U.S. just magically disappeared and Canada went down to Mexico. Russia wouldn't come over and just take them out, or whatever.
would they need
Someone
to?
would have taken them out by now. The only reason they are still there is because Big Brother US is like, it's okay, we got your back. Nobody's going to mess with you. So if we aren't going to let anyone else take their shit, we might as well take their shit.
Canada.
Come on, we did it. The Fallout games.
That's Fallout, dude. That's fantasy.
You've really been thinking this through.
Seriously, we did. We sent our power armor suits up through there and took out Canada in like a day.
This is a good point that Tim brings up. Our first U.S. invasion of Canada was so awful, we still won't want to think about it. So, case in point.
Yeah, wasn't that like part of what they talked about in the movie The Patriot, like Fort Wilderness and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Mel Gibson's character was like fighting like the French and Indians up there, right?
Yes.
I don't know
Canadian
too much
beer. Canadian beer too.
Yeah.
We tried it in 1776 and 1812, didn't end well. So that's true. But so any other games?
A charm.
Any other games that you guys got on your pipeline for right now? I know that everyone's looking forward to Third World War that's coming out from Compass. That is on Kickstarter now and is doing a fantastic job on Kickstarter, which for those who don't already know, and everybody should, but those who don't know, Kickstarter is just there to give it an added little boost for those who may not be aware of the game. So if you've pre-ordered it, don't worry about it. Your pre-order is good. It's not like it's superseding your pre-order. I hear comments like that all the time. Well, I pre-ordered it. What the heck? It's like, this is another avenue for them to get other people. It's just another way. So don't worry about that. But what do you got, Gimpy, that's next up for you on your channel? And what do you got on your table next?
We already mentioned the ones that I pre-ordered, and you made fun of me for saying Sui Con.
Sui Con.
No, I'm really looking forward to American Tank Ace. I really want to get that one to the table because I've heard so many good things. So
it's great.
I can't wait to try that. As far as getting to the table, the ones I mentioned, I really want to do right by Fabrizio. So I'm going to be taking my time getting Sacred Oil to the table. I've been, ever since they messed with my seizure meds, I've been having a harder time keeping shit in the brain. So I'm going to take my time, make sure I got that one right, so I can.
That's not where you're supposed to keep.
That's not where you're supposed to keep that, right? You can both do it at the same time.
Dicks.
That's not where that belongs.
But something else, I've got my little guilty pleasure, and you guys aren't into this, but I like it. Is
we don't need to hear anymore then.
The newest version of Blood Bowl, which is the Dungeon Bowl. So this is out by GW Games.
Okay.
I've always liked Blood Bowl, the fantasy football game that they have, and this is a different version. So I've been painting my little miniatures for that because I know Kev loves miniatures, and I can't wait to show them off to him.
Nice.
I'm waiting to see them. Hopefully they'll be well done. All right.
Excellent.
Trial by Fire. I do remember that. Vaguely. I do remember that. Harold Corwin.
I think we should invade Mexico.
Why?
It solves the problem. Well, I mean, and let's not get.
Why not? You want to invade Canada? Let's just invade Mexico.
20 minutes talking about Canada. Let's talk about
Mexico's just moving up into the U.S. anyway. So I mean, we give it another 20
take
years.
It over, and then we can escort them all back to their houses and give them all social security and benefits, and put some roads in, and everyone can have a floor, and we can go from there. And we can be cocaine lords. I think that's a great idea.
It's funny.
You were talking about being a drug lord before there, Nate. So there you go.
My wife's grandfather is Mexican, right? Like full blood from Mexico. He immigrated here. He joined the army. He became a sergeant major. Then he was a teacher. Then he was reverend. So he's done it all. And the funniest part is he hates Mexicans more than anyone else on the planet. For some reason, he hates Mexico. He doesn't talk about it very much, but he hates that area. Great guy.
So what's up for you next, Kev? What do you got on the table? What are you going to be playing next?
Well, I think I said I've got Goss. I've got Lucky Forward. Yes. So that's gonna take a little while. And then South China Sea, that Indian Ocean module. I've got that set up to play. I've got a couple of vassal games going, but they're all two of them are petering out. So I'm probably going to open up the calendar a little bit to do some more vassal stuff just by email. And that's really it. I think. Speaking of Brian, I'd like to get some MBT up on the table after playing tank charts.
Ooh.
I think that got the blood going to get some.
You know what?
Some
Let's
of the
play.
Canadians.
Let's play MBT. I've
You wanna
never
play
played.
MBT?
Remember,
Oh,
I've
I
never
wanna
played.
play
I want to
MBT.
play.
All
So,
right.
of all people, I've never played MBT.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, really, you would love that.
Yeah, I think I would dig it. So we'll play, and we can turn it into a Whiskey Charlie After Dark, like we did with Boog
that'd be
River,
cool.
but we'll
Hold
actually
up.
get through turns faster.
Hold up, I might actually have a copy of that one. I'll have to check my shelf. 'Cause I
Oh,
think
you got MBT?
We can do a free
I think so.
That
Don't
just sounded wrong.
and pervert.
We can do it a 3-way. Yeah.
I
You guys
might
can,
have a
you guys can drive M1s, and I'll bring some T8s to the table.
Nice. I think that'd be kind of neat because I know everybody has said speaks very highly of the game. The only thing I don't like about the board game itself, and I know this is just some people may not agree.
Let me guess.
Those maps.
Yeah.
Those maps are terrible.
Yeah.
They're so cartoonish looking. It's like I understand they're geomorphic, but geez.
Are they absolute victory terrible or worse?
No, that's that map is that has actually held me back from getting that game.
I still like it, dude. I still like it. I don't know.
Yeah, the map is just, but MBT maps are just like really. I would expect
they started with that, like that was the color palette, the Eastern Front, and and they went, oh well, we'll just keep that because then it'll make it easier to integrate with everything else. Stop. It's terrible.
Yeah, it is now. No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
I just don't like the color palette. I don't mind the artwork as much, but I don't like the color palette.
Yeah, the art is kind of cartoony itself, I thought, but the palette was terrible.
Yeah.
So,
well, what do you got going on?
Only advanced rules and most of the optionals. So we'll have to see how we can do that for MBT. I've never played, so I'll have to
it's okay.
jam through the rules and figure it out, and then we'll decide what we'll do with the advanced rules.
I'll show you what to do. It's
cool.
easy. And
well, you know me, how I play, like I do with Boog River. What are we going to do? Well, let's say, what's Mo going to do? He's going to run right up the middle and start swinging.
yeah. So it'll be a quick game. It'll be fun.
Hell yeah. Well, I do understand movement with tanks. So, I mean, just because tactical, I want to run right into the fight doesn't mean that I'm going to just run right out in the open and get shot. I mean, but I do like to get right into the fray. I mean, that's the point of it.
We'll just set up a little scenario to goof around.
Yeah, do a little meeting.
Do the 3 of us, we can do that too. We'll use the morale rules and command rules and
that'd be cool.
The advanced combat shooting bits, and we'll go from there. We'll skip all the artillery and air and infantry and just do tanks, and it's fun.
Yeah, let's do it. I think that'll be fun, and we can have everybody come in here and chime in from the cheap seats.
The peanut gallery, yeah.
Exactly. You can have fun with it. But like I said, I got Assault 41. I still have to play through Scream, Aim, Fire because I got to do a review on that as well. And then I've got Save Afghanistan, Save South Vietnam that I want to play through. And I've got a few others that I still have to get on the table. I just haven't had the time because I've got, hockey's still going on. And then I've got other projects I've been working on, which has just been keeping me busy. It always does. So that's it. But that's it. So we'll get something out about the MBT here pretty soon. And I do have a contact that, going back to something we talked about earlier, T2K. I do have somebody I've talked to that would be interested in running us through a T2K. So maybe we could do like a one-off, something just to get into it and to play. And we can do a stream. And I know some people may not think RPG streams would be great, but I think with us it would be fun because we just do our normal trash talking and everything. Yeah. And people can throw in comments in the chat and we'll have fun with it because that's the point. Just get out there and have some fun and see what this environment's all about. But
that'd be cool. I'd love to do that because I've been playing a little bit solo, so it'd be fun.
How do you like it solo?
It's fine. I mean, I'm really doing it for a narrative thing. So I'm writing about what I'm playing. I'm using the dice when I need to and using the game mechanics when I need to, really more than anything else. So that's all.
Nice.
Yeah.
I actually printed out some miniatures for it using a little rented.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I found some that I could size down that would fit in the hexes.
Oh, nice.
So I printed out a couple of those so I could paint. I mean, they're tiny.
Yeah, like 15 mil.
Yeah.
Get like 15 millimeter, 10 millimeter. Yeah.
Yeah, spray them green, hit them with a little wash, and it'll look fine on the table, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, because you don't need
I
to.
mean, what? It only comes with a handful of counters.
Right.
Yeah, you don't need a ton. You
Yeah.
know, that's just what it is. So you can do whatever you want with it. And plus it's all on virtual tabletop, you know, so that way you can do it through the application, and we'll just figure out how we can do that and do a stream.
Yeah, I need to get all that stuff. I don't think I've downloaded any of that yet.
You should have the license for, not the license. You should have the, I think you get the game, but it's $50 for the license. I got the license. I got the software ready. So I've got that, and I've got Aliens. So we get some T2K in there. We can run some Aliens too. So,
but that's like, you can do whatever you want, right? So I could be like, Gimpy stabs Mo in the back, takes his gear.
You could
do that.
You could.
Extra ammo.
And I would shoot you in your good leg.
Exactly. Then what is he?
Double knife.
Yeah, he'll be like, double knife. Come back here. Come back here. I can't hit your legs. Come back here.
No, we gotta try that out. It sounds like it'll be fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think it'd be fun for everybody to, tune in and watch some shenanigans. But we kind of were all over the map tonight. We did cover some of the things we meant to talk about, but we went off on some other tangents. Were brought up here in the chat, some really good conversations. And Mitch has some comment here. He says combat is deadly in the new T2K. Fantastic. Like to hear that. Because
getting into gunfights is not advised. Yeah.
That's good. That's really good, because I think combat, as much as I love to get into combat in these games, I think combat is it's either too clean, too fast, too clean, or it doesn't feel like it gets anywhere. Right. I think it should be something that you got to think about. Do we really want to get into this fight?
Right.
Or do we want to kind of talk our way out of it? Yes. And they don't just go one way, they come back at you. So I like that you have to measure, your responses. So, and then of course it depends on the GM. He or she can make it tougher on you or easier or whatever.
Sure.
Mo, you need to see if you can get Becca Scott to do like a guest spot on the show.
That would be cool. That would be cool. I will say that. Who knows? Maybe we'll get that to happen. But
I'd have a hard time focusing on the game though.
So Tim's saying you do an RPG.
You're so trashy. You're so trashy.
So LBW is just joining us here a little late, and Van Deeken here also just got home from work. He missed all the fun. We'll have to watch it later. But yeah, we had a really good chat, good long chat tonight. 2 hours, 20 minutes we're coming up on. So longer show than normal, but we did cover a lot of conversation here. And I do agree, if we can get Becca Scott, that would be awesome. But hey, I want Kate Beckinsale at the same time too. So, I aim if you're going to aim high.
Right. Why not? Right.
So anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. Really appreciate you guys joining us, and we will see you on the next episode next month. Have a great month, everybody. See ya.